You're watching Suckprofessor. Hello, everybody. It's me, Hank. I'm joined by...
James.
Hey, everybody. Taboo. Wow. We just watched episode 1, and we're going to do a shot-by-shot recap. We're going to get into a lot of detailed analysis of every single exciting, intriguing, corpse-filled, gross moment in this show. Although it really wasn't all that gross. A little bit of blood and gore, but lots of spoilers, lots of stuff coming up. Also, we're not experts, and we just watched it, and we're going to screw it up real bad. We're going to completely fuck it up horrible.
Yeah, first episodes are always messy.
Yeah, so we're just getting to know this world and these characters, so please bear with us if we mess up a detail or whatever. And if we do, let us know in the comments. Keep it respectful. We're having a dialogue here on our channel. And, we'll this is a community effort.
Yeah, and we'll try not to get any of the big details wrong. So we open in Spain.
So we're in Spain. Yeah. This is Mars. Yeah. This is the sequel to Matt Damon. All right, so let's start. Okay, so we have a little flyover shot, or as James called it, a drone. Because he thinks it's the future, and it is. Over a ship. I didn't press the button, but you just picture a boat. And then there's another little boat. Something's going on there. Somebody's rowing. Okay, we're not sure. All brand new, cool, dark waters. Overall, the show has this kind of dark, gritty motif. This sort of patina of worn things are all muddy and wet and grimy, which we'll see plenty of that.
So basically, someone's coming to shore, but they don't want their presence known apparently because a ship didn't dock. He's coming in a little dinghy, so apparently he wants to come in undetected or under the radar.
Yes, and my first thought was this guy is Death. This is the River Styx, and he is... No, I don't actually think that, but you don't see anybody's face for a while.
So anyone who wears a hoodie is Death.
Yeah. Comedians and the Grim Reaper.
Yeah.
So this is... but foggy and wet, kind of like my dating life. So there he goes, helmet, and then all of a sudden he's on a white horse. So yeah, he's traveling somewhere. We don't know where.
Clearly the Old Spice guy.
This is the Old Spice guy. Yeah, he's got great abs, and your girlfriend wants to bang him. So that's pretty cool, though. Cloudy skies, I don't want to say. So for anybody that's new here, what we're doing is we hit the print screen button and just take screenshots, and then so we're basically stealing the entire episode. So thanks to FX Network and everybody else if they're
and to whoever flags this video.
We're not trying to. We're okay. All right, I don't want to get into that. So there we go. Horse, and he walks over. It's a tree. We got some cool orchestral music. Now, going in though, just before we get too deep, my expectations for the show, James, were pretty high. Everybody likes Tom Hardy. He's just a badass actor. I mean, and that's the only thing I knew about the show is that some sort of period drama, possibly with, and the billboard, he's wearing a top hat and he has this crazy painted face and this beard, but he's just such he's magnetic. There's something about Tom Hardy that's really powerful. If you've ever seen the movie Bronson,
I think it's called
Muscles and a hot bod, and I don't know what it is. I mean, he's just a great casting is what I'm saying. So that's one of the reasons.
He's a foreboding, imposing character.
Yeah. We'll see a lot of that, and it's I'm just saying that. So far, we don't know there's a supernatural element to this thing at all. So everything, expectations are pretty high, and but overall the episode, we'll get to that at the end. But I don't know why I was interrupted to say that. You feel similarly, or had you heard about this before?
No, I'd actually never. It wasn't on my radar at all. I didn't know about it until we did a live stream, and someone graciously enough informed us that this was a thing.
The show that they wanted to hear our take on. So, all right, anyway, he's walks up to a tree and starts humping the ground. This was digs a hole. That's a shovel. You see the handle down there. We see him still haven't been revealed who we're looking at yet.
So wherever he came from, he brought something with him, something he didn't want people to know about, and he's concealing it before he makes his presence known in town. Yes,
and he takes his hood off, and we see it's Bane.
It's Mad Max.
It's Mad Max. It's Bane. It's the guy from Inception. He's Bronson. He's but there
Legends.
he is. Legends? Is that one? Yeah. This is also the Blues Clues guy. That's how good of an actor he is.
He's the dog, right?
Yeah, that's it. That's his erection. No. I think that's him pulling the thing out of his jacket. Like that's where he had under his poncho there.
How big is this object that he's bearing?
It was small. It was like the size of a large heart.
No, okay.
Half a Kleenex box. How's that? Does that work?
So he's basically just burying his pet gerbil.
Yeah, he's got a gerbil orgy going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, he stuffs it down into the hole, and who doesn't like doing that? And then he's doesn't reveal much other than this. He's kind of just generically really intense all the time. This doesn't look like a dude that would be fun to go cow tipping with.
Yeah, so
he'd be like, I'm gonna raise cows and kill their dad.
But we don't know who he is, why he's coming back. We know that he's in England after this establishing shot.
Yeah, right here.
Yeah.
Although my dumbass, no. We don't know this is England yet. I said I thought this was DC because of the kind of thing there, but that's a pretty. I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
they built a lot of those all over the place.
I mean, most people who before watching the show knows that it takes place in London.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, but okay. I'm only questioning that because there's also discussion about land on another part of the world. I thought maybe this was there or something, but maybe not. Maybe this is London or England or something. I don't know. Boy, do I sound really stupid right now. I realize that. There's a windmill, James.
Yeah.
You know what they use windmills for?
Milling wind.
Yes, yeah. Exactly. Milling is for grain, right? Isn't it?
Yeah, it basically turned this giant stone that crushes grain
into flour.
Yes.
And then he turns it into carbs, and then everybody dies of having diabetes because bread is delicious. So, white horse, white legs, clop, 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 splash, splash, splash. And so he's racing along. Yeah, not really in a hurry, but he's heading into town. But this doesn't look like the same tower, though. Like, let's back up one.
Yeah, I mean, that building in the middle looks like the same building.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. Yeah, you got the all the other towers and minor. Okay, I feel like this looks really remote, but it is an older London.
It's Assassin's Creed.
It's Assassin's. Yeah, this is a video game location. This is okay. It's fun. I don't see ships and water. Maybe there's missing. I don't know. I don't know why I'm trying to quibble with this all because a lot of the primary location for this episode was a lot of boats and a lot of larger ships, and it's sort of a shipping company thing going on here. So. Anyway, there he is on a horse crossing the bridge. Bridges are great. I love old bridges. I like new bridges. I like bridges of Madison County. Okay, that's how much I love fucking bridges.
And those are troubled waters there.
Those are troubled waters. Thank you very much, Billy Joel. Is that the Billy Joel song?
No.
No, whatever. Who cares? So these are his old girlfriends. What if the horse just like kicked him and they went pew? No. But cool old building, look at these things, man. They bothered with this stuff. That's how bored they were back then.
No, they had 3D printers.
3D printers, yeah. We have the internet now, so these would just be like swipeable iPads with McDonald's advertising.
Those kind of look like modern Windows to me, though, but maybe not.
These guys here?
Yeah.
Yeah, who knows? I don't know. I mean, they figured out separate window panes a while back. I mean, these aren't oil paper, like way far back. But this is the center of the world. This is London. This is 18th century London.
1816, was it?
We have a number. I thought it was earlier than that, actually.
I think it was 1816.
So he goes running. He jumps off the horse. Here he parks it underneath this bridge. And it's not a bridge. It's an entry or something. I don't know what you call that. Ben, what do we see? Oh, no. An old man. This is Joffrey from Game of Thrones. Yeah. Plenty of Game of Thrones references coming up.
Yeah, there's some cast members.
A lot of which we like. It makes us feel good. Although it does break immersion slightly just because you recognize something. But that's not something you can hold against the show or whatever. But this still coin on the face thing is real. I think
they did that.
Yeah, James, when I die, I want you to put a PayPal on my one eye and a Bitcoin on the other.
It'll be 2 IOUs.
A bottle cap.
Yeah. And originally the intent was to pay what's his name, the guy in the River Styx.
Oh, is that what that? Yeah.
Yeah, Charon.
Charon.
Yeah.
Is that the name of the guy?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh. Cerberus.
That's the dog, the multi-headed dog.
Cersei's not the dog.
Cersei Lannister was the dog.
Yeah, Cerberus, the dog, the three-headed dog.
I think Charon or whatever. Sharon Osbourne.
I thought Charon was another name for the land. I don't know. Why are we? Let us know in the comments, everybody.
It's purgatory.
Sorry for doubting you, by the way, there. I feel like a real jerk. But yeah, I also think that maybe eyes just like were one of the first things that started stinking.
Yeah, I'm sure there's other reasons for it. I don't know.
No,
it's kind of creepy to have. It's probably like
it wouldn't seal in the odor.
Do you think that when you're dead, your eyes would naturally open themselves randomly and freak people out, and they did that as a courtesy?
I doubt it. I mean to hold them down.
Because I know like dolls and stuff, when you sit them down, sometimes their eyes just flip open and I just scream and run.
Well, if you sit him up, his eyes open. That's how the dolls, and then he goes, whoa, wow. And because it's old, worn out. Look at these eyebrows. These are some fucking, these are some real
weed whacker.
Yeah, you could, these are some blind dusters here, man. You could just rub this guy's face on the window blinds. That's what kind of was meaning there. All right, let's keep pushing. Okay, so dead corpse in a lighted room, nice atmosphere, pretty cool. He walks in, looking pretty intense. We got some sort of container thingy back here.
Yeah, and if you go back like one screen, you see the dome up there.
Oh, back one more.
You think that dome is the dome of the central building that we were seeing? Or?
Oh, okay. Well, let's
probably
back up
not.
Even a little more. Oh, yeah, that one here.
No, that doesn't look like it's glass.
Yeah.
No.
This is much larger than that too. But
yeah.
Yeah, that's certainly not the Yeah, they would build just a giant thing for one guy.
Yeah,
like one
for
room.
one mortuary.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could fit more bodies in there, but in good lighting. So, but pre-electricity, no one. It's all candles, torches, and wicks.
Yeah, so this seems to suggest that he's coming back to England for the purposes of attending a funeral or something for this deceased person.
Death tends to cause a lot of activity, whether it's well, if it's your own death, I guess your activity's over. But someone dies, everybody's got to run around and go put on their best pants and pick the cilantro out of their teeth and go smile at old people that they haven't seen in 20 years. So, cool building, cool room. He walks in. I thought it was interesting that he just takes the coins. I didn't know the meaning of that.
Well, he's got to pay the parking for his horse.
Yes, his meter's down to 2 minutes. He needs to get out there before the meter maid gets him. But I took that as a disrespectful action. I don't know when you're like what the protocol is about this whole process.
But I know at this point, didn't he say something like "I'm sorry, father," which establishes that this is his father, and he's.
Oh yeah, that's probably happened.
I think he does say that.
James's dialogue memory is way better than mine, so this would be a mess without him. So, but yeah, he's not having a good time. He's also he's gross. He's probably been traveling a lot. His butt probably hurts from riding that horse. And he says something about his father, and boom, that's the opening sequence of what's possibly a really great new show. What is happening? Okay, so this is the opening sequence. We're not going to do this for every time. I just took more screenshots for this one.
This is the British synchronized swimming team.
Yes, this is the British synchronized swimming. They're horrible. They come in last place every year. Is that? Oh, that's the United States flag.
Yeah.
I didn't notice that. Okay, cool. We got the stripes. It's all worn out and shitty and stuff. So, okay, guys got chains. Probably a slave, I would imagine.
Executive producer Ridley Scott. That's a big credit.
Oh, yeah, that's a huge credit. Stephen Knights. No idea. Old SK. Tom Hardy, too. And, I'm sure that there'll be more significance to various people in in this drowning scene or whatever. This is British bathing. This is how they do it. They have one bucket of one big tub of water, and that's why their teeth are all fucked up. Okay.
Oh, my God.
What?
That's inappropriate.
My teeth are fucked up. I'm allowed. Taboo. Okay, so off we go. Good thing it's not Naboo, where Natalie Portman lives.
All right, so it's not 1816, it's 1814. I was off by 2 years.
1814. Fucking James, get out of here. How dare you? You've destroyed our credibility. Okay, so opening shot after the credits. Some lady's looking around. That's why I missed her face, but this is her hands. Look at those gross fingers. She's plucking a chicken.
Yep, so this is daily life in London.
Daily old life. There's a dog down there on the right, so dog's waiting around for some of the chicken meat to fall down or something, possibly. I guess some things never change, huh, James? Feathers, birds. They did a good job, though. I thought everything looked pretty authentic.
It's like an establishing shot of the universe we're in.
Yeah, it's world building, but everything looks kind of, what? I'm sure there's proper ways. Oh, fuck. Oh, shit.
What did you do?
I clicked off the thing. I'm sure there's proper ways to describe this aesthetic. I don't know them. It's not, so I don't want to start throwing out. This is steampunk. It's not, not at all. Gritty gothic period drama. I don't know, something like that. Not quite. I'm not gothic. You know what I mean? Like, they don't mascara on the fucking. They're not teens at the mall. Look, James, see that symbol? We saw that later.
We're going to see that a lot more, yeah.
Cool. That's one of the reasons I like these shot-by-shots, because you spot things that you didn't see before. There's a weird snake, and let's keep pushing. So, yeah, because people are doing their thing. This is way back when, they ate green. Sometimes they ate green stuff. Sometimes they ate meat. Pretty much like we do today. Right?
Or if you go, I said East Gate, I think it was.
East Gate.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty much. That must have been a scandal. Oh no, Eastgate. So this all came down. Then it cuts to this guy here, and it's sort of like a funeral procession.
Yeah, and he's yelling something like, "What actually is he saying?"
Hear ye, hear ye!
Yeah.
Discount on Diet Cokes.
Yeah.
At the Smartin Final.
But it's sort of like he stands before God, before his maker.
Yeah.
He calls to thee, or just. Yeah, something that's kind of nonsensical stuff.
Very ritual. We humans, every culture has goofy rituals about death, which is understandable. It's a dramatic thing. Yeah. I personally just want to be dumped in the woods so the raccoons can turn me into a nest.
Yeah, and the horses
I don't care.
Like they just got back from band camp.
The horses are back from band camp, from goth band camp. These horses. That's how sad this place is. Even the horses got dressed up.
Yeah.
So in their finest black garb. Yeah, so, this is it. I'm sure some of these characters are probably part of their show or whatever a little bit, but there's the coffin, there's the thing. Whip out the old. I guess this is the original hearse, or if not, maybe not the original. The original was probably a couple of dudes. Yeah.
Imagine how boring the Ghostbusters were back then.
Yeah,
that was.
This is the Ghostbusters wagon, but it's like a guy on the roof going. Okay, all right, I'm getting bogged down. I'm sorry. Okay. Oh, lady. Okay, I recognize her right away. James didn't.
Yeah, she looked familiar to me because I believe she was in Quantum of Solace, which was one of the James Bond movies. I didn't pick up on her from her more prominent role earlier on, which is...
She's Robb Stark's wife in Game of Thrones.
Talia or something.
Talia.
Yeah.
She gets stabbed in the pregnant belly in the Red Wedding. Mm-hmm. It's spoiler alert there, but she's good. Yeah, so I was glad to see her. I thought she was great. Yeah. I thought she was great in Game of Thrones, and she had a very unfortunate exit. So it's kind of cool to see her in a show. One of the first Game of Thrones people we'll see in the show. Yeah, so then we cut to a church, like a funeral. She's sad. She's got the things. This here is because traditionally James grieving women sneeze, and this keeps the mucus inside. It's like a sneeze guard around a salad bar.
So she's like a parrotfish, as you taught me.
Oh, okay. So yes, I should explain, but I'm not going to.
Yep.
Google parrotfish mucus sleep.
It's very nasty.
It's gross. Just Google it. You'll see after this video. You just ruined our fucking watch time, James. God damn it.
Parrotfishes are trending now.
Parrotfish, yeah.
Fishes, that's a new word.
Yeah, parrotfish. All right, so funeral. We're pushing forward, and this guy comes up and he goes, "Did you pay the 2 shillings to the grave diggers?"
But he does say, like, "Pardon my intrusion at this inappropriate moment." But
yeah. And he's wearing a ring. I don't know what the significance of that is.
And we'll find out this guy's name is Thoit.
Thoit. Wow, good pull. I would have caught that. And this guy looks at him like, "You motherfucker, we are grieving."
Well, he's asking, did you pay the additional 2 shillings to bury the body at a deeper depth?
Yeah.
Such that, and he says the resurrectionists won't be able to reach his meat before morning or sunup.
Yeah. It's 2 feet deeper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the man on the right, our right in the shot, says something like, "My wife has no business with you." So we now know that her name, I believe her last name is Gravely, I think something like that. Or
I didn't catch her last name.
Something to that extent. Okay. But yeah, she's there with her husband at the funeral.
Yeah. And that is interesting though. Like this scene establishes though that like they live in a world where grave robbing happens, where not only does grave robbing happen, but there's kind of a profit motive. Well, go ahead.
Correct. Not Gravely, Geary.
Geary.
Yes.
Pretty close. James has his iPad out. So, but there's a world where James, would you quit being so popular?
Dang it.
And so grave robbing is a thing. That's always one of those grisly parts of human history. I mean, it probably still happens in some places or something.
Yeah, now resurrectionists, is that a thing? Is this something that's native to the show, not to history?
Maybe it's like a local grave robbing gang.
Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. All right, so me, I cradle rob. I steal candy from babies, from irresponsible parents who give their babies candy. So there he goes, and then all of a sudden a guy walks in, and this is a big moment. This is pretty cool.
People
well
tend
filmed.
to look and gasp.
Yeah, everybody's like, "Oh, gee, oh." And you can see the heads turned, and we see our hero. Well, we'll find out. Look at, he's got a thigh gap, James.
So, yes. So they reference him as a ghost.
Yeah, they're like, "I see a ghost." I don't know if that's what they say, but his appearance is unexpected. Nobody thought they'd be seeing this man. This is a pretty... We'll find out why, and I get why they were surprised too. And look at these candles. I don't know what it is. I'm always obsessed with candles and torches because you just feel like some asshole's job. I meant asshole in like a good way. Like some bastard's job is to be like, the candle guy. I gotta go fucking clean up the wax. God damn, you know what I mean?
And then to reforge them so that they're all at a uniform height.
Yeah. Well, they get them from the same bucket or the same container. You know what I mean? Like, hey, go get the fucking burial candles and hook them up. Torches too. Torches, no, they never run out in the movies, at least. All right, so look at this fella though. Look at his hat, huh? Get used to this shot. I'm backing up a little bit. Look at that. I mean, what if? I don't know. It's just cool casting. I guarantee you'll be seeing some of this costume at a Halloween party near you, or
it
an
could be
orgy.
anything. It'd be like Jack the Ripper or something. You know, it's very.
Yeah, Jack the Ripper. You know why they called him that? Not because of the murder, because he farted all.
That's how he tried.
What is that? That's
He's putting the coins from his father's eyes into a box.
That's right. This is a slit to a box that's at the front. Yeah. Okay. Next shot would have revealed what he was doing. And these guys are going. No, no, no.
Yeah. Well, they're silent before that, and that powers them. They're like the magic fingers at a cheap hotel.
Yeah, like the movie Big. It turns them into, activates the guy. They're actually just praying for this guy's hair to grow back. So, all right, fine. They're in a church, and he sits down. I actually kind of thought he might walk out, but no, he just sits down. It'd be kind of cool if he just walked in and was like, here, give these fucking coins back to you. See you all later. But there's a lot of significance going on in this scene, actually, too, that we find out later. Hopefully I'll remember to repeat, or to say that what it is. And so she, like, looks down, because everybody's sort of stunned. No one is,
Yeah, she seems most stunned by it.
Yeah, she's most stunned. So you got a sense that she's got some sort of relationship with them. And then cut to a burial box, a coffin. There you go. That's what those are called. All right. And they're lowering it down a rope. James, you ever carried a coffin?
No, I have not.
I was a pallbearer once. They give you these gloves. These white gloves that are cotton, and this fucking coffin was heavy as shit, man. It was like 8 people or 6.
There were 8 people in the coffin?
Yeah, it was a big, yeah. He was a cannibal. He had eaten 8 people and died of being full. No, like me, I was one, and I barely held up. And I'm a strong man. This was in my 20s, and I was even more in shape than I am now, as hard as that is to believe. And I was like, why the white gloves? These are slippery. Can't you put some sticky pads on these gloves? This is fucking stupid. If I drop this guy's going to come falling out, and it's going to be a hilarious YouTube video.
If only there was such a thing as wheels.
Yeah, it's like, and that was somebody I was related to. And I was like, I was mad because it's risking the dignity of my dead relative.
I want my coffin carried by a fleet of Roombas. You don't know where they're going to go.
I thought you wanted me to carry your coffin.
No, well, I'm hoping that your brain will be put into a Roomba by then.
Into a Roomba. All right, so, yeah, there they are, and he's, notice how, by the way, he's a little tan.
No.
Probably been out on the ocean.
So, in dialogue that we would have heard by now, we know that the deceased is a man by the name of Delaney.
Yes.
And that he is not generally a liked person.
No. People tend to, have we really learned that so far? Maybe the old guy earlier with the coins or something?
It's brought up before that not a single tear was shed at the funeral. And you can tell that people are not emotional at this point. You don't see anyone sobbing or anyone, overly exerting emotions.
Yes. Almost pretty much the most emotion you see is him rubbing this powder or makeup or whatever on his face.
And he's muttering incoherent words that we don't I shouldn't say incoherent, just because it's a language I don't understand. I'm not going to call it incoherent. But,
don't be so sensitive.
Yeah, but
it's incoherent nonsense.
Yeah, I don't know what he's saying. I don't know if it's mumbo jumbo. I don't know if it is a language. That's,
Yeah, no, it's certainly something that's meaningful to him, and that the rest of them don't know. And also rubbing on your face, he's actually trying to put on lipstick. He just sucks at it.
It's similar words to what he was saying over top of his father's body right when he took the coins off his eyes. He was saying something of that sort before.
Yeah, right. So he's obviously got... he's a different fellow than the rest of these people.
Yeah, and people are looking at him and judging him for doing this. They're kind of freaked out by him. Yeah. He is not blending in very well.
Yes, yeah. And nor does he care. Like, this is not something he knows that this would look weird. He was raised with these people. At least, I mean, we kind of assume so. So there she is. She's just glad she hasn't sneezed under her sneeze guard. And there he is again with the face. And okay, all right. And he looks at her and she looks at him. And they've got some history there, which we'll find out more about. Now he's walking off. Is this supposed to represent a tear, do you think? Just like a cry, like a blood? Like, oh, I cried blood. You know how human rituals are always kooky?
It could be. I don't know.
Like, our rituals make sense to us. That's because they're ingrained in our upbringing and in our culture. We go to that. We see them. But our rituals are just as random as any other culture's weird rituals. The guys that dive off, they build their own little tower, and then they bungee dive off of with the vines, and they, like, have you seen those dudes?
I have seen those, yeah.
It's insane. It's like, geez, dudes, hello, use a ladder.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you miscalculate the length of the rope a little bit, you're dead.
Well, and their goal is to have their head touch the earth.
Yeah, without dying.
It's like a softer ramp, but it's like, you're not gonna...
Yeah, I think I watched an episode of An Idiot Abroad with Carl Pilkington, where they tried to get him to do that, but he was like, no, no.
That's it. Who the fuck would do that? That's a great show, Idiot Abroad. It's so funny. So this guy comes up. He's like, hello, excuse me. I don't know what he says, but he goes, who are you? He goes, I am her husband, right? Pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much.
This is where he learns that she's married to this guy. And that's, right, I mean, that's his sister. She kind of comes up behind him, so I don't think he sees her right away. But then he looks at her. I don't know what they exchange here, really. I think it's more just...
He insults the husband a little bit. He says something to the effect of, I noticed you didn't bury him 2 shillings deeper, and if you find yourself short, feel free to ask, for Africa was very good to me.
Oh, yeah, I think he says that later, the Africa was
He may have said that part later, but he does say something like...
the shillings.
Yeah.
He repeats the offer later, and that's when he says the Africa thing. So, we'll get that. But, all right, yeah, so there he is, and then he walks off. And then now we cut to, like, a bar scene, and so we got just a bunch of British people being drunk and British. They're like, slurp.
Right, and this is the part where they're kind of talking about what happened at the gravesite, where they were referring to the words that he was saying as something I cannot repeat.
What?
As
a swear word?
As N-word words.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's later on. Yeah, because he has this meeting with this. Remember this guy said something about going out to pee?
Yeah.
Yeah. The N-word word part is now? Are you sure it's not later?
I think it's during the scene.
No, that was during when the guy was talking to his wife when they were alone. When she wrote the letter. I mean, unless there was N-word stuff I missed.
They were kind of talking amongst themselves at the events that just happened at the gravesite.
Oh.
So I think it is there.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, okay. And fair enough. Well, I mean, I know for sure there's a part later on where they use that word twice, where the husband does.
Right. So at this point in time, we learn that Thoit is the attorney, the lawyer for the family of the Delaneys. Also for Mrs. Geary, who I believe her name is Anna Geary.
That's the daughter.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the husband seems to be a little bit overprotective of the whole situation because when it comes to a time of death and possessions and, splitting things up, there's always some tensions between family members.
Absolutely.
So he advises Thoit, he's like, I don't want you going out and talking to him. No business gets conducted without me being present there. And he kind of says, well, I don't really need you to hold my you-know-what. I'm just going to go out and take a leak.
Okay, yeah. And so he does go out and he walks by. This guy's getting a blowjob from the table. And he walks by them. And they show some cuts to just sort of these workers. I like this stuff. This is the kind of thing, even though this is gross, this is just meat and there's a liver thing there. But I like when period dramas and pieces that show the kind of I like when they show the janitors and the cleanup people and the servants and they show the underbelly of it all, like the kind of instead of it's just like, oh, hello, I'm the rich woman and the rich man and we're gonna sit around and talk. That shit gets old. It can be fine, but I feel like these people didn't get their fair shake in their life, and then also in history they were left out of the story and what we look at a lot of times they're not looked at. So. And for this guy should replace the Statue of Liberty. Is basically what I'm saying. And
real quick, I think during that scene where you saw the woman there, I think were there not also patrons inside who were recounting their opinions of the mindset of him saying, "Oh, in Africa there are worms that burrow through your veins and get into your head and make you mad and do strange things." All this pseudoscience that they did not understand back in the day, trying to explain maladies.
Sure,
I thought that was kind of interesting.
Demons and worms and possess. Yeah, they didn't say
because he's kind of the talk of the town at this point. No one knows. He's just like, oh, well, we thought you were dead.
Right.
Why are you? How did
they knew he was in Africa?
Yeah.
Hence the N-word references, which is unfortunate. But hey, it's 1814 in Britain. All right, so I took this. This is cooking for people though, right? He's not just getting rid. It's so it's like pig parts probably. Yeah.
It would appear
ham hocks and soup. I guess they're making a big thing of soup, a stew, some sort of gross whatever. Probably pretty tasty though, authentic. And the old guy goes in, and Tom Hardy shows up, and he goes. It's weird. It's like there's a contrast between the cooking and the food preparation because our world, we have such a need for the appearance of sterility. What am I thinking? Is that sterility right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's weird that sterile's like, oh, I want my dishes sterile, but it's all like, oh fuck, my balls are sterile. But he just goes and takes a piss right by where they're cooking. And if you saw this anywhere in our world, we'd be like, oh my God,
that would be a health code violation and a half. But I mean, most of times.
London and a lot of British and American, I mean, throughout history, not just Britain and England or Britain and America, there's just rivers of piss flowing through the streets all the time. They just dumped out their buckets of shit and piss everywhere. So the higher population densities is one of the reasons the plagues were so possible, and we didn't have the kind of irrigation or sewers and
that's why Mary Poppins traveled by umbrella.
Yeah, that's why, because she lost most of her family to a big puddle of poop. So he comes up and he starts talking to him. I know James will help us fill in some of these details here. Go ahead, James.
Okay, so at first point he says, I noticed that I didn't hear any water hitting the leather. Means that, which means that either you have none to drop or you came out here purposefully to talk to me about something.
That's right.
And he starts questioning him. I think he says, as you know, my name is Thoit. I was ravaged by smallpox, but here I stand. I'm the attorney to your father and to your family. Mm-hmm. And if you've come back... Oh, at first he says, how did you know to come back? How did you know your father was deceased? And he said, I heard word of it.
I heard he was sick and I got on a boat or something.
Yeah. But he also said, did you know your father would light fires and stand on the coast and speak to you? And he goes, yes, I know. I heard him.
Yeah.
which was kind of freaky.
That was crazy, yeah. And he's got this tattoo, too, which I remember. It's no, it's not the Twin Towers, in case anybody's thinking that. So he also has other tattoos earlier, too, that we'll see. But yeah, that's right. Yeah, I heard him. That was nuts. That was kooky. Now, did they talk about the inheritance at all?
Yes, he says something along to the effect of, if you've come back here expecting fortunes, I must disappoint you. I've read the will. You're the sole heir, but all that remains for you is an asset that's a poisoned chalice.
Oh, right.
And he says, well, speak to me then of poison.
Okay, and does he go into detail about it? We learned about the land?
We learned that what the land is, what the poison is, but he kind of...
Well, the poison is a piece of land.
Yes, he almost kind of tells him at this point, is like, no good comes from owning this land. It's useless. It's a bunch of rocks and Indians, and there's nothing you could possibly want from this. But he says, but they're my rocks now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then he basically says, I'll draw up the paperwork and send it to you, and he simply walks away without a response.
Yes. And he goes, also, I want my dad's Oldsmobile.
Yes.
I lost my virginity in the back of that thing.
And Thoit has strong connections, strong motivations for this land, and his motivations do not align with the well-being of Delaney, which we'll find out a little bit later.
Yeah, they don't...
So his urgings to tell him to drop the land, to sell it, to get rid of it, to pass it out of his mind, is for his own benefit.
For Thoit.
For Thoit's own benefit.
Which is revealed later more. But yes, it's just, you can deduce that this new stranger but this resurrected ghost from the past, who's this odd bird to all these guys, that his appearance has really rattled them, and because he has, it's his thing, like everything belongs to him, and his father was a powerful, wealthy person.
Yeah, and the other thing to know that kind of helps form the story here that you're not really supposed to know yet, but this land and the assets of the Delaneys were a powerful shipping company.
Yeah.
And everyone had already kind of gotten around and negotiated and figured out, well, this is the slice of the pie that I get, and this is what you get. They'd negotiated with Anne Geary, who was to be the heir of this wealth. Right. And as you know, back in the time, it's not really fair.
Penises.
Yes, if you're a guy, you get first dibs at anything.
Yeah, males took precedence.
Yeah, so they had already divided this pie up and figured out what they were going to get, and suddenly him coming back throws all that out the window.
Yeah. I've never been more angry than when I found that out, because I'm one of 3 sons, and so I need to murder both of my brothers in order to become the sole heir of my dad's television fortune. He owns 2 couches and a TV. All right, so cut to some carbs, some drinking. They're inside. I don't remember whose hands that is, but yeah. So we've got these are the Shire boys. This is Frodo. This is Pip. That's Baggins, Pippin. They're all grown up. Look at that hair.
I think this is where we get a little bit more of the dialogue that I was talking about before. I think it starts a little, but it gets into more detail here. Yeah, where he talks about the worms and things like that.
All right, so because we go back into that.
Yeah, we
setting.
Jump back.
So, yeah, so you were a little ahead with some of that, maybe. That's why I right?
I think you hear a little bit of the inappropriate language stuff in the beginning, but then the worm part definitely comes here.
Oh, okay, that's where the worm part comes from, and a lot of it's happening. And these English accents are one of my favorites, by the way. But I often struggle with them. So
I think in the next episodes, I'm probably either going to watch it first with subtitles and then watch it again, just to make sure I'm not missing anything. I mean, if I could choose to have any accent in the world, I would choose an English accent, because it always makes you sound more intelligent and more refined.
Let me hear your best English accent, but I want you to say, "Hello, governor."
That's what I was going to say.
Hello, governor. Where's the Big Ben come from?
No.
Oh, it's Doctor Who. Not Doctor Oom.
Doctor Who is one of my favorite shows.
Doctor Who sucks.
Doctor Who is awesome.
It sucks a big ugly. No, actually,
BBC has the best programming of anyone out there. BBC News is the best. I love BBC.
I'm saying that specifically to try to make people angry, because people are real sensitive about Doctor Who. I like it a lot. It's fine. Okay, fine. Yeah, so he walks in doing his intense guy thing, and he she sees him there. Yeah, so they're all gathered. This is what you do. When someone dies, you get drunk, and you just fight with each other about the leftovers. That's the cycle of life. And this guy, he does not like him. He is real upset because he was all set up to be the heir with his rich wife, or is about to be rich wife, and have all this stuff. And all of a sudden, this son of a bitch comes back from the dead, and he's ruining what his whole plan. His whole life is now being screwed up here.
And I think this is the point where he references that Africa treated him well. At which point, the jerk face in the prior shot.
This is the jerk face?
Yes, Mr. Geary says, well, then you shall have no need of legacy then. Basically saying, well, then relinquish your claim to all rights from the death of your father. Yeah. Because he kind of wanted that.
I think, yeah, that's a few screenshots. Because what does he say to his... Oh, this is where he tells her, I still love you. Or,
Yeah, he says, one thing that Africa has not changed about me is that I still love you.
Yeah, yeah.
And does he mean in a sense of brother-sisterly love or something more disturbing?
Yes.
We don't know.
Yes. And he said, hey, you'd make a bad submarine door because you're made out of a screen. I just repurposed an old racist Polish joke. Okay, James? It's not fair anymore. We've moved on. And leave the Polish people alone.
No, she's just lower resolution. You can see her pixels.
Yeah, those are her pixels. I don't know why
she's not HD.
The veil thing is making me laugh so much. It's just funny. People are just humans are weird. But yeah, he's got a whole history. So they've obviously got some intense history going on. And I think this is where he says what you told him.
Yeah, as he walks away, he says that Africa has been good to him.
Yeah, he's like, all right. Why don't you fucking back off then, asshole? Because he offers to do the shillings twice.
Shilling, yeah. As if to kind of put him in his place.
Yeah. It's kind of condescending to be like, you need some money, buddy? Huh?
Yeah.
You need a little money? By the way, James, can I have $2? Give me $2.
Sure.
See, James said yes. You're too nice, James. You got boundaries, okay? All right, so yeah, all right, fuck you. And then even the old guy's getting in on the kind of post-funeral hobnobbing, obviously not too upset about this guy's death, Generally, you leave your pee-pee in your pants till the day after a funeral.
At the beginning part of this scene, I believe that Mr. Geary is also commenting that this room is filled with women, and he uses the W word for them.
What? Witches?
Which is not women. Promiscuous.
Whores?
Yes.
Oh,
he uses that word to describe them, saying that they saying that they have no relation to the family, but they show up to affairs like this because they know there's going to be a lot of wealthy old men around.
Yeah. Oh.
And then we see kind of what's going on here, and I think that it kind of slows down a little bit, and this is all slurping and slopping and like pig sounds almost.
Yeah.
And it's almost like he's observing this with disgust because he spent the better part of the last 10 years in Africa in a different setting. This is alien to him.
Yeah, it's a world he left behind that he is not comfortable being suddenly back in the middle of it all.
Right.
Yeah, you're right. It was like kind of like pigs slopping and slurping in a way. I mean, they didn't overdo that, but seeing these people just sort of giggling, drunk, sweaty, gross, all tight and tight quarters, gross and dark, and indoors probably unnerves them a little bit.
And I can imagine the smell was not pleasant.
Oh man, the whole past. I mean, I get BO sometimes. We all do. Sometimes you don't shower for a couple of weeks. You know what I mean? And I've never gone a couple of weeks. It's crazy. But back in the day, everybody's breath was horrible because their teeth were rotting and their butts, they didn't wash. Everything was.
This goes for America too. This is not.
Yeah. No, we're not picking on the British. I'm just saying. I mean, everybody. But then again, everybody was probably used to it, and you didn't know, and they probably had, I mean, they didn't have sterility like we do. They didn't have a shower is one of the most insane things. The fact that we have drinkable, hot and cold water pouring out of multiple holes in our walls is absolute magic as far as I'm concerned. I'm very stupid, that's why. So then we cut to a big old building. Looks like a pretty powerful place, huh?
Yep.
James pointed out this logo here. I didn't know what the EI stood for. I thought it stood for Earth Industry.
That means that elephants are inside.
Elephants
That's
inside.
That's why the door's so big. Makes sense.
Elephants Inside Company.
No, it's the East India Company.
And across the street is the EO Company, the Elephants Outside Company. Yeah. They don't have walls. It's just a field of elephants. So it's the East India Company, which is also the logo on the barrel that we saw earlier. Yeah,
which, as we know from history, is one of the most large and powerful shipping trade companies in the world at the time.
Yes. Some people might remember from, I believe, and I might be wrong, so please correct me in the comments, that the Boston Tea Party had something to do with the East India Company. I think they broke into East India Company boats. That's where my reference comes from historical, from quote-unquote education, that the East India Company had some things to do during the Revolution, and I think that was one of those events. James, are you... Okay, James just Googled. I was right. So you can tell me in the comments how much I am right. And James was wrong because
I disagree.
All right. But, all right, well, thank you for checking that out. All right, cool. So we go inside. We don't know what's happening. Yeah, obviously, they're demonstrating the wealth,
the pompous nature, the parallel between the last place we saw with the pig-like behavior and this more refined setting.
These are the one percenters. These are the captains of industry. These are the big, these are guys that are used to fancy teacups.
Yeah, no, those fancy teacups, is that referred to as Blue Willow, I think?
Boy, there's fucking no way in hell I'd ever know that. I don't know. Beats me. It's probably some kind of Asian imported thing, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they traded a lot with the... as they called it back then, the Orient.
And this is Jonathan Pryce, which you will know him as the High Sparrow from
Game of Thrones. All right, we got another guy, Game of Thrones here. And he's talking about, exactly in the shot, I don't know what, but they're meeting to discuss the matter of...
right, he's laying down the rules.
Yeah.
Saying that all the words will be taken, but if you should raise your hand, then it will go off record.
That's right. Yeah, we won't write down what you say when you raise your hand, which I thought was interesting. As he pours tea, and look at the little cup.
That is a little...
Would have got a Mickey Mouse straw. That would be pretty random. So they're meeting to figure out what to do about the guy. I already forgot his name.
Delaney.
No, James Kazaya.
Well, I mean, what he's saying now is that we saw the passing of the elder Delaney, and may he rotten,
May he rotten hell. That was interesting, too, because, if it's off the record, all right, let's do this. That guy was a piece of shit.
Yeah, they saw his passing as a good thing for them because he was tying up assets that they wanted to get their hands on.
Yeah.
And they had already negotiated, as they're about to say at this point, with the daughter who stood to gain all of these assets. And now here's Thoit in the back of the room. So we know that Thoit is in the back pocket of the East India Company, and he's trying to negotiate with the East India Company to get the assets from James.
Yes.
So he can then sell them to the East India Company.
Right. Yeah.
So they're trying to figure out who are they dealing with.
They want this guy's business. They already had an arrangement with the girl. Now they got an arrangement with the boy, and he's going to be a tougher priest. Yeah. He's going to be harder to work with.
And these are smart guys. They want to know, if I'm going to go negotiating with someone, I need to know my enemy before I go at him.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is their investigator who's supposed to tell us the backstory about where he comes from, who he is.
That's why when I played high school sports, I spent most of my time skulking about the opponent's locker room.
Dressed as a giant football.
Yeah, I dress as a house plant. Yeah. So, but there's also a whole sequence here where they get into his history. So this guy here had done some investigating into his African travails, or actually before, because he was. So it turns out he was shipwrecked, or he had gone to America.
Well, he starts off saying that he was put into the care of a cadets system, and this guy, Dr. Strange, which not Doctor, but Mr. Strange.
Is that his name in the show?
Yeah, Stuart Strange.
Oh, okay, SS.
Yeah, so he was actually the commander of this group of cadets that James Delaney was part of, which he didn't remember, and he thought it was kind of funny because I commanded so many of those little runts that memory would fail me in that respect.
Yeah.
So he starts looking through his records, and he notices that in every single respect, I think in 1800 everything was exemplary. He was saying your marksmanship, your leadership, your everything was great, but that changed in about 1802.
Okay.
Where he said that things started going downhill. He started causing ruckuses. He started breaking the necks of people. He started, mutiny and all sorts of things unbecoming of a cadet.
And of the son of a powerful shipping guy. They were grooming him to take over for his dad. That's what they've always done. But they obviously didn't want any dissent, and they didn't want any independent thinking. Right. They didn't, so you're going to suddenly realize that these guys are all a bunch of bullshit. And, so he was trouble for them.
Yeah, and something about him burning up or blowing up a ship with mashed potatoes and custard and all, really bizarre stuff. And the whole room is eating it up and laughing about it, saying, oh, this guy is a loose cannon. I mean, how are we going to deal with him?
Yeah.
And then he this is where he's looking and saying exemplary, exemplary, exemplary. And this is kind of where they figure out that at the end of that story, he steals away and goes out to Africa.
Right.
At which point they're not quite aware of, what would have become of him at that time.
Well, he was in for some reason in my brain I was thinking he was in a boat wreck.
Well, that comes later.
That's after.
That's the second. The second investigator is the African side of the investigation.
Oh, okay.
And he attests to that.
Oh, all right, fair enough. Yeah, for some reason, I got it. I'm so glad you're here. I have no idea. So here comes another Game of Thrones fella. This is Marjorie's father,
right?
The son of the Queen of Thorns.
Yep.
Is this Pycelle? No.
I was thinking Grand Maester Pycelle. This is not Pycelle. This is Tyrell.
Tyrell. That's okay. Easy to get those two confused. But yeah, he plays. Oh, hello, I'm Tyrell. He's one of my favorite characters in Game of Thrones.
And oddly enough, how does he meet his end?
How does what? Oh, he chokes on a grape?
No, he goes up in a fury of wildfire in the same location as Jonathan Pryce.
Oh.
They're side by side when it all goes exploding.
When Cersei blows up the church, the Sept of Baelor.
Here again they are, under a fancy roof. Together.
Back together again. They probably sleep in bunk beds. Yeah. Okay. So they're learning about this guy. Looking in. Yeah. He's going. This piece of shit. He's a weird. He's an old kooky. We don't know what to do about it. So, right?
Yeah, and that he's just a crazy dude.
Yeah, and he didn't give this coffee to anybody else. Or tea. It's not coffee. These are British people. They don't drink fucking coffee. What are they, savages? This is tea. And come on, jerk.
Who needs 2 globes?
Yeah, right. Well, when you put one hand on each one, it forms like a lightning bolt in the middle of the room, and then you can call up the demons and have conversations.
Captain Planet.
Yeah.
That's why he has one of the Planeteer rings on, as you can see.
Yes. Yeah, right. I was trying to think of something to say about that ring.
Tea.
Or that, or he visited a tourist shop in New Mexico, because, Jesus Christ, could you have more jade in one place? Give it up, New Mexico. Calm down. All right.
He got his attention.
So yeah, they're the gist is they don't know what to do, and they're trying to get the lawyer to take over. Is this the guy that? Okay, and then he raises his hand.
Right, because he has to go to the bathroom.
Yeah. He's yeah. And he says, this is where he says...
Well, he's talking about the wills, I think.
The contract.
Yeah,
because there's only one copy.
Yeah, he says, why should we have to deal with this person? There's only one copy that we know of. Why don't we simply burn it?
Why don't we burn it? I like that he just didn't even hint at it. He's just like, why don't we just burn the fucking thing?
Yeah, so to basically erase any sort of knowledge of his connection to this asset that they're going after. Yeah,
this is the guy putting... Oh, look at that gross fingers. I like that at least they have gross fingers, because that's realistic. Like, whenever actors have super clean teeth and super clean fingers, and it shouldn't be that way.
It kind of makes sense in this respect, because he's putting the pen down because the man has raised his hand. This is like the court stenographer guy.
Yeah.
He's dealing with ink and stuff all the time, so we'd expect his fingers to be
That's what I'm saying. Up. Yeah, totally. Yeah, that, and he sleeps with his fingers in his butt. So yeah, this is him saying, let's burn it. And they're like, well, maybe. And he looks at the lawyer like, hey, buddy.
Well, he's asking, has this contract or deed of trust surfaced yet? And he goes, no, I believe there's only one original copy, which you can only assume is in the hands of their enemy, Mr. Delaney.
Now, this guy, he was the second investigator you'd referred to, right? Or no?
No,
Sorry for a little confused.
I believe there is a different guy.
Because in a whole different scene?
No, it's later on in this scene. I think it may be him. I could be wrong. But
I think it is, because they're almost at the end of the scene.
Yeah, but basically what he says is that it wouldn't matter anyway. A Thoit steps in at some point and says it wouldn't matter if we burned it. It wouldn't matter if we lost it, because naturally, even the land that's at stake would go to the firstborn son anyway. Mm-hmm. So even if we were to claim like illegitimate ownership, it wouldn't. Yeah. It would make no difference.
And this is what I referred to way earlier about the church scene having some more importance. Was that in fact Thoit points out that he made a public reemergence. He came and he made himself seen in a large group, which is at the funeral and in the church, so everybody knew that he's back.
Yeah, and he also says that is not the action of a savage.
Maybe the face painting doesn't even have any significance, and he was only just doing something crazy just to make sure nobody missed it. I doubt that, because
I like that. It's called Taboo, so there's probably something to it, but that's interesting. Yeah.
Taboo does mean like doing things that general polite society would look down upon.
What do they call it? Peacocking?
That's probably a whole different. I mean, not you're on the way to taboo a little bit, but like taboo would be like the first guy to get a nose ring.
No. Peacocking is a dating technique that people do, where where you wear something absurdly rambunctious such that you will be remembered
as a conversation starter.
Yeah, so you can be picked out of a crowd easily. So he does something so he's noticed there, so many people will remember his presence.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I don't think that what he was doing was peacocking.
Like he was not trying to date everyone.
Yeah, he was like, I want to date that corpse.
No, but kind of in the same sense that he would maybe perhaps,
or it's some sort of ritual thing, because he's kind of like he probably had some sort of maybe other cultural exposure that he might have some new traditions. He's speaking the language. I think there's more to it on that vein of it than he was faking it. But
it's an interesting side note.
But the point is, he made a public appearance as far as what these guys are talking about.
Which essentially means we can't simply just go and murder him and dump his body in the harbor.
Yeah, he's gonna get. We got to give it to him if contract or no contract, it's his stuff.
Yeah, but men of this level of power and influence get what they want.
Yeah,
so
they scheme. They have they have lots of levers of power. They have government control. I mean, that's
they don't consider murder to be off the table. It's
generally why concentration of wealth is in too much quantity is not very good, because you concentrate power and then they just get to manipulate the system for the benefit of the very few. Yeah. That's a very old story. It's a very old story. We're experiencing a lot in our world, but also throughout history it's gone on.
Yeah, and my recollection has come back. You are right. This is the man who talks about the India side of things. Good, James. Thanks for showing up. No, okay. I like your. I was gonna make a joke that I hit you on the back of the head without anybody hearing it, just to trigger. Why would I do that? That's okay. I treat James like an old VCR to get him to work. I blow in his opening. I chew up most of your tape.
This took a weird turn. Yeah, so we're fucked. They don't know what to do. Okay, so they're not going to give up.
What he does say, he looks at the other guy and says, well, I hope that your account, because you're the researcher to look at his accounts of his movements after we lost track of him in the mainland, hopefully yours is as detailed and interesting as the prior guy.
Yeah.
And he says, yes, there was some interesting things on Earth, and he basically says, I know that he started off in this boat, then he transferred to that boat, then he went to this boat, and then he went to Antigua, at which point he boarded a slave ship. The slave ship sunk, and he was presumed dead at that point.
Oh, okay, that's right.
And then he says, but there are also rumors. But I did not include any rumors in my report because I put only the facts in my report. At which point Mr. Jonathan Price says, what rumors? And his only response is, horrible. And then he reiterates by saying, what effing rumors?
That's right, yeah, what fucking rumor? That's this shot right here. What? Because the guy didn't tell him the answer. Okay, so that's how the scene ends. And this is the face he makes when he heard the F word. Mm-hmm. That's the same face James makes whenever I swear. Right, fucking James?
Yes.
So, cool silhouette shot, cool boats, cool top hat, cool everything. And he's on the beach. He's on kind of a fucked up, gross, shitty, worn out old boat, something or other there.
And is that a greyhound or something?
I thought it was a greyhound. I know there's other dogs that are similar to greyhounds.
Yeah, the body's shape and size. I mean, it looks emaciated.
Yeah.
But
a little furrier than most gray. I mean, maybe there's longer haired greyhounds and stuff. But yeah, the dog's all mangy and looking, and that's kind of cool though. There he is, very greyhound looking. Santa's little helper, probably. Yep. Santa's Al helper. But yeah, he's just having a nice little gander at the water, doing his thing.
I mean, Britain has the best beaches.
Beautiful beaches. This is the finest beach in Britain. This is it's gorgeous there. It is actually pretty.
I know, yeah.
I'm not actually.
If I had to choose to live anywhere, I would live there.
Right here, James.
No, not there.
Right here, in England, along this apocalyptic beach thing. This is probably a skyscraper nowadays, or been built up. All right, so yeah, he walks off. We don't really know what's up there, but he's doing his thing at the beach. Now we walk into cut to commercial, by the way, right? Or I don't know. Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
A few commercials here. And he's going home. I think it was pretty clear. Old, dark, nothing going on in his house. He pulls out his old key.
Delaney Manor.
Delaney, really? Like Wayne Manor?
Well,
did you see a sign?
No. It's his father's house.
Yeah,
we know that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The Delaney Manor house. It's a nice restaurant. So lights up this even the what do you call these things, torch thing or lantern torch thing is fancy. That's how these people they had money and power.
And it would have been a little strange had he held up an iPhone.
Yeah, but he couldn't get it to work, so he just made the screen bright instead of using the actual LED flashlight on the back, which can be pretty bright too. Yeah. So there's his dad. We finally he walks up and sees his painting, and we get a shot. His dad was George Washington. Look at that guy. Rich old dude.
Who was the famous guy who painted George Washington pictures?
David Blaine?
Gilbert Stewart.
Wow, that wasn't. I was not going to come up with Gilbert Stewart. Gilbert Godfrey?
Yeah, same guy.
Ow! Hold still, Mr. President! So there, I think this looks like shipping stuff, right? Like that's like the mast of a ship.
Yeah, it looks like the mast of a ship.
Yeah, so he's probably either that or he has the world's weirdest penis.
No, he was just a giant.
Yeah. Rawr! So paintings, poor people didn't get themselves painted. Rich guys got to do it. It's fine. No judgment on that. But so that's his dad. He's in his house, and then he hears, "Oh, I've got this gun. Who's there? This gun is loaded." And it turns out it's like his old butler. This is
his father's servant.
It's Michael Caine. Hello. No. I mean, more Batman references. It's like this guy's kind of like the home caretaker, so he must still live there. He probably was, and so.
Yep, $5 if you can tell me his name.
It's a Shidosh, Sandosh, Siando, Silioso, Sinsos. Go ahead.
Brace.
Who am I thinking of?
You're thinking of his mother's real name, which we find out a little bit later.
Oh, really? So I was on it with some.
Yeah, you had the right syllables, just in the wrong order.
Way off. Okay, so I feel good about that. Either that or my brain had finally broken officially. So they hug and they're like, he's glad to see him. It was pretty good. So then these guys actually have a very nice rapport. He's obviously relieved. He clearly was with him as a boy. Obviously, he's got some affection and some history with him and stuff. So they're pretty candid with each other too. And one of them even at one point, I'm not sure if it's this scene or if it's later, says like, I can't talk to anybody else. You're the only one I can trust.
You're the only one I trust. in this area.
What did any of the dialogue here that needs to be pointed out?
Well, he says something I didn't quite understand it fully, but he says that he acknowledges that he's been gone for 10 years, and he goes, "How are you? How's your leg?" or something like that. And he says, "I broke my knee swinging around for you like a monkey or something."
Okay.
Maybe he, I don't know.
Oh yeah, so yeah, there's more to it.
But I think at the very end of it, and it could be now, it might be a little bit later, but he does say, he comments, "You look the same," but he says, "I'm not."
He's talking about who you.
Brace looks at James Delaney and says, "You look the same," and James Delaney says, "I'm not."
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's a pretty important detail. We got a lot of screenshots here, so we'll just burn through them unless you can think of extra dialogue that we recall. But they're definitely very familiar and very comfortable with each other, and probably glad to see each other.
Well, yeah. I mean, at this point,
certainly.
He's telling him about his father and his father's final days, and how he was come about by madness, how he would go to the shores, just like what the lawyer had already told him, that he would stand on the shores and he would light fires and he would speak your name and he would speak to you and he would crouch down by the flames and talk to dancing ghosts. And again, he acknowledges, "Yes, I know, I heard him."
Yeah, that's right.
That's why he chose to come back.
So do you read into that maybe there's some sort of occult, for lack of a better term, I don't actually know what's going on, but did his dad have some sort of was it sort of part of a dementia thing at the end of his life, or he was tapping into some sort of spirit world thingy connection?
No,
he was hitting the world spirit web, or did he have a history and knew that he could like activate some sort of channel of communication? Because we're heading towards supernatural. We still don't know what's going on.
We find out a little bit later in the episode why he was exhibiting signs of madness and why people thought he was going mad, why he was being publicly, doing this kind of stuff.
I missed all that.
But I do think that, I think it's very possible there was something to it.
Yeah.
That he and his son had a connection in a way.
Okay, yeah, definitely. And then he goes, "Hey, sir, can I have money for new pajamas? These are the same pajamas I've had for 400 years. That's why they look so gross. They're made out of older pajamas." All right, so, come on, dude. Look how fucking filthy you are. Didn't you people even care about that at all? Come, get out of here.
And before he says, talks about the fires and things, like, he just looks at him and says, "Would it have killed you to send your father one letter," or something like that.
But, saying your dad missed you.
Yeah.
It hurt him that
and
you
he's
didn't.
kind of explaining to him, that may be the case, but we were speaking.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
And
I feel like we were watching two separate shows. Not that I disagree, just that you caught like 75% more than I did.
Right, but this was the important part where he was, where Brace was shocked because he was talking to him and he says something along the lines of, "Did you know that your true mother?" Well, I'm messing this up. He said that he acknowledges that he knows that his true mother was not who he was told was his birth mother.
Oh, yeah.
That his father went off to a land and bought a woman.
Okay.
And bought her with gunpowder. And fathered a child with her.
Does that mean rape?
No, he traded.
Oh, traded gunpowder.
Yeah.
Not like he gunpowder.
No, he didn't hold a flintlock to her head.
All right.
And that he is the product of that.
Oh, okay.
And that his mother's name was, you were saying it earlier, it was like Shia, or Shyla, or something
some
like
sort
that.
of S, two syllables with a bunch of S's.
Yeah. And Brace, it looks horrified because he's saying, "You're speaking words that only I and your father knew. You have no way of knowing these things. How could you possibly know?"
Yeah.
And he was like, "As I told you, I spoke to my father. He told me everything at the beach."
Oh, man. Oh,
so we know that this is not just some play he's putting on. He has specific knowledge that he had no way of getting had he not had the ability to commune with his father across long distances.
Yeah. Other than letters, these people didn't have any texting or emails or smoke signals. Okay, so he goes upstairs and he sees the thing. Now, this is where we finally get a glimpse into flashes. He's looking through his old, fucked up attic and stuff. And he looks out the window, and this fog rolls in, which I just took to be kind of like, oh, it's London, it's foggy, it gets foggy. I don't know if it comes in that quickly, but it came rolling in. Little eerie. This is the way Tim Burton dreams, and then all of a sudden we start getting flashes.
Yeah, and that's just Johnny Depp's wife going home.
That's Helena Bonham Carter.
He's just spying on her.
Yeah, that's Jon Snow. See, he's dressed up like a crow. He's got the black feather thing on his,
I was
on his
wondering,
shoulders.
is this supposed to be his true birth mother calling out to him?
I would bet this all happened. I'm actually glad about how many screenshots we got of it. But yeah, I would bet this is kind of scary. James, were you afraid by this? Some of this?
Yes, no.
James likes horror games, and he plays horror VR games, which are so immersive, they're terrifying. And for him, they're entertaining, and for me, they just trigger my anxiety. I can't take it. But I wasn't like freaked out by any of this stuff. But it was interesting because I don't know how much supernatural there's going to be in this show, or how much sort of these like voodoo religion contact or powers are all going to have. But yeah, so she's in a lake or in a pond or something. It's underwater stuff, so they do a lot with the drowning. That's her trying to. She's got a hemorrhoid. I don't know something. There's an old face. That's probably his dad. I'm a bet, right?
Yeah, it looks like possibly, yeah.
That's her having. It looks like she's eating a fish. No, I have no idea. Screaming underwater. So it's all kind of like grisly and scary and freaky and whatnot. So, all right, but he doesn't seem too worried about it all. Is he remembering, or are those imaginings? We don't really know. But clearly, we're going to find out more as the season goes on, right? So then we cut to a letter writing. They all had amazing font back then. They all had incredible font.
Yeah, and this is important. This is the piece of land that's been talking about, Nootka Sound.
Yeah.
Because he referenced in the prior scene that his mother was from the Nootka tribe.
Oh, yeah.
And his father was there. That's when he traded beads and things for the land, beads and gunpowder, and he got both the land and the woman.
So there's a lot going on in this Nootka Sound that we're going to see. I imagine we'll find out a lot more about that place later on in the whole series. So this is the morning, though. He wakes up. Say, would you like some fancy tea? Is there any other kind? And I don't know what they say. They say some
He
shit.
says if you're looking at those ledgers to find out anything, you're wasting your time. Those books are 10 years old. They're only there because I saved them and I hid them. He burned everything else. I kept these around in case the tax man were to come knocking.
Yeah. So who's this to? Mr. James Delaney, Esquire.
Yeah. So, and he also says that Thoit, the attorney, has been trying for a number of years, I think about 3 years, to buy Nootka Sound from the family.
Yep.
Well, no, I'm sorry, not to buy Nootka Sound, but to buy the Delaney shipping company.
Yeah. And here's a letter from him to you, though. This is
yeah.
And
he's been throwing these out, and your father handled these in the past by going out, pulling up some horse dung, and putting that into an envelope and sending it back.
Yeah.
And he says, what do you intend to do with this? And he says, do you happen to have any horse dung on you?
Yeah, but then he throws it in the fire.
Yeah.
He doesn't even open it, which is a good power move. I didn't get a shot of it landing in the fire. But, so no, sir, I don't have any horse dung, but if you give me a couple hours, I can squeeze some out. And there they go.
Well, this is the point where he says, I've noticed in the papers that there is a lease to the family offices on the docks, and that lease was for 50 years, and of that 50 years, we have 32 remaining. I'd like the keys to those offices so I can go set up shop.
Yeah.
And he said, sir, your father has not been there in 8 years, it's all locked up. And he goes, well, then I shall need the key.
Yeah, so that's the cut to him heading towards the docks. Some more of the blacksmith people banging away on metal and fixing shit, probably making pieces of turning things into stuff. turning things into stuff. H.L. Jones shipping. So that's all the docks. It's like a lot of manual labor, a lot of some skilled labor, shipping, money, products.
Yeah, and if you go to that other scene, you can see Benedict Cumberbatch walking behind him.
Where? Right back here? Which one? Him?
A little bit.
Oh no, that looks like the bad guy from Old Country for No Men's.
Yeah, Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yeah, Benedict Cumberbatch. It's a Spanish actor. What's his name? The bad guy.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but look, a book passage here. That is that's advertising. They want you to write a book passage right there on the wall. That's pretty good. Cool. H.L. Jones. So that's the house. Okay. Look at this. Oh, there's a thing on his head. All right. Cool. Very video game-ish. So I feel like this would be like if it was like Witcher 3, you could walk in here and just start talking to pick up some quests, trade in some items, get some loot, or sell some loot, I mean. Oh, there he goes. He's in the middle there. Okay, so he walks over and he's heading towards this thing. Ew, cabbage! Ew. It's all gross and British and stuff. Not that, you get me. All right. Well, they're
no
not
offense, but it's gross British stuff.
No, gross and British. Those are separate. There's a lot of gross American shit going on. All over the whole world was stinky and gross. Everywhere. Everybody's okay. Not a good backtrack. So yeah, but pretty cool sets. So far I'm pretty impressed with the authenticity. Everything's grimy and gritty and nothing's new. Although the East India Company, I guess, was a pretty new looking building. But then he comes up, see the sign, the Delaney Shipping Company.
Yep.
Wapping Dock. Or Wapping Dock. Or as the British might call it, Wapping Dock. I don't know what I'm saying. This lady comes up and she's kind of like, hey, what the fuck are you doing, pal? What are you doing?
She says something more crude than that.
What did she say?
If you want bush, you come through me.
Oh. James, did you just swear?
It's a No.
No. I know you didn't.
She's talking about the president.
But yeah, this is Karl Rove.
That's his secretary.
Yep, Karl Rove without his makeup. She's a street woman, a brothel owner, it turns out, right? I jumped ahead a little bit there, but...
No, she is a street fighter. She's mastered Hadouken.
Hadouken!
No, but she's saying, what are you doing with my door? I mean, you can't go in here. Yeah. And he says, if you read the sign, you'll know this is the property of Delaney. And he calls her by her actual name. I think it's Hilda or Helga. Uh-huh. And he says, as a boy, I lay with you.
Right.
And I know, and I'm amazed that you're even still alive.
Yeah, so he's been packing hot dogs since he was a young one.
Yeah, so he knows that, and she remembers him to an extent and says, oh, crap. Because now she knows that she's been using this office free of rent for the longest time, for 8 years now.
Yeah.
Not realizing that anyone was ever going to come back and lay claim to it.
Right.
So she's got her own little business set up inside.
She had turned this cardboard box into a nice little business, and now it's back and it's no longer her. He's back and it's no longer hers. He shows her the key, and they go inside. That's a cool map thing, huh? It's kind of like an old-timey, is that wood or tarp? Some sort. Okay, so there they go. There's their welcoming drinks. Get you drunk, get your dick out, and we'll do some business. That's the way horror houses work, James. They walk in, and he said, this is where we figure it out. I mean, you kind of figured it out earlier. And so there they go. That's no greater evidence of sexual behavior than a bunch of sleeping booties, right, James? So they've had at it. I think that's a lady, right? A dude, a lady. Okay, all right. Well, hey, you know what? Who hasn't? All right, I'm very lonely. So people are, she's offering though. She's like, hey, how about I give you half? He goes, how much do you make?
Yeah, at first he asked about that.
She's like, I make 10 a day.
Yep.
And I'll give you 5 and whatever else you want, wink, wink. And she goes, I got men, I got boy, I don't know if she said boys or not.
She did.
She did, okay, I assumed.
Your recollection of this scene is spot on. Why is that?
Well, I woke up right before this scene.
Okay.
And she's like, girls, whatever the fuck you want, man, you get it all. And then he's like, he doesn't seem to answer that, but he's obviously not that interested, right? And he's just sort of, he tells her you got 2 hours to get out of here, to vacate. Which I thought was pretty nice. He could have kicked her out and then gotten some goons.
Exactly.
And thrown her all her shit. And he's like, okay, I'm not, but 2 hours is also a pretty tight window to empty, or at least, get the people out. Of course you could, okay. So she's she's fighting for her business and her wherewithal here. Obviously his presence has disrupted another, institution of the society. And this is where she's like, what about men? They're strong and they'll really hit you. What?
No, she goes, I have women, but I also have men, and they're not very good men.
Yeah.
They have nooses and knives and ropes.
Yeah. Which just bodes... He didn't seem to be like, ooh, gross. He was like, no.
Yeah, he basically cuts her off by kicking a table over and then laying down the rope.
Yeah.
He says, you send 12 men after me, and I'll send back 12.
And then these two wake up, and they're looking at it going, oh, we got an early shift.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm not quite sure what the slang that he used to say that the parts that he would cut off of her and boil.
Yeah, something. What did he mean, boobs?
What
else are you going to cut off? I mean, you can cut off the...
Take the P off of Potter and put another T there.
Totter? Right?
And an R after the first letter.
Trotter.
Yes, I'm not quite sure what that...
Trotter.
I'm assuming it's a vulgar slang that I'm not aware of.
Yeah. Sure, definitely. I don't know, man. I mean, it's one thing humans are... good at it's coming up with funny vulgar slang for our gross genitals.
Yeah, but he says
are boobs genitals?
No.
Are armpit hair pubes?
Yeah, no.
Why don't we call beard pubes? They come around from puberty.
I do think, yeah, sure.
Man, I'm writing my congressman.
Yeah. But he says something like, people who do not know me find out quickly that, I am not a man who makes sensible decisions. Yeah. I am not a man to be trifled with, basically.
Yeah. And so she's obviously not getting anywhere. No progress. He kicks over a table, and he says, I don't quite exactly remember what he says.
His last words to her, he looks back and says, be punctual.
Be punctual. That was good. That was cool. I like the writing in the show. I like that they don't overdo it. I'm so far, the more we're talking about it, the more I'm starting to really kind of like the show. All shows, generally, the premise entices me, and then I'm intrigued enough. Or not all shows, but the ones that I get into, like Westworld. Okay, so that's a different person, right? She's this is someone else from behind the curtain. She looks and she closes it, and commercial break. All right, so took a quick break. James Googled trotters. It's what?
Pig's feet, apparently, but I'm assuming there's an older, slang, vulgar meaning to it, because he references he's going to cut the family jewels off of the 12 men that he's presumed she'll send after him, and that he will boil her
trotters.
So, I mean, you don't reference a guy's junk and then immediately turn around and talk about cutting her feet off. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, he's probably... I mean, I guess they're tits. I don't know. What? I suppose. All right. Well, I mean, if I was going to insult a woman and I said her tits look like pig's feet, that's kind of insulting. I have no idea. All right, so let's keep going. Shit. There it is. What is that? That's a hand. Okay, we'll just... What?
She's writing a letter.
She's writing a letter. Oh, so we're scanning up from her body. Okay, someone's just screenshots. It's hard to tell. The orange is what's throwing me off. I'm like, what is this? Orange is the new black? All of a sudden, we're in a different... We get the wrong show. So, Rob Stark's wife. What's her name in the show?
Talia?
Talia?
No. In the show, Anne.
Anne.
We're talking about it.
Yeah, not Game of Thrones.
The current show.
The husband, so she's writing a letter, and he comes in. I'm not sure exactly what it says here. He's like, are you making progress? But she's writing a letter to try to make an offer to the guy. They're all trying to convince him to give up his interest.
Right, and Mr. Geary is saying that he'll do anything to protect the interests of his family, the interest in wealth and property that he believed was entitled to.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. So, dear James, I'm writing this letter in the hope that you will read it and see sense. Your unexpected return has aroused much disruption and anguish. I implore you to relinquish the deed and leave for your own good as well as others. During your long absence, our father arranged, right? What the fuck?
And also, I don't know if it's...
Hanged? Like, fucking can't read. Arranged. He was not a pleasant man. What the fuck word is that? Shanged? Our father
changed. Our father changed.
Oh, changed. Jesus, that the C threw me. Okay, I'm horrible. And made many enemies. Your prolonged absence probably may turn these enemies into friend. I don't know. Your sister Zilpha.
I don't know. Yeah, I was about to say I don't know where I've been hearing the name Anne, but yeah, her name is Zilpha according to IMDb. Maybe it's a short.
That's her first name. Oh, Zilpha Geary.
Zilpha Geary.
Yeah, I don't know where the hell Anne came from.
I heard it at some point. Maybe Anne was... I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, let's just forget we ever said that.
Yeah.
Episode 1, we warned you.
James, a lot of people get Anne and Zilpha confused. It's a very easy mistake to make.
Zilfan.
Sounds
like some sort
Alpha?
of medicine.
Anne?
Ask your doctor if Zilfan is right for you.
So this is the letter is, hey, why don't you leave? You fucking douchebag.
Yeah, there's one particular word in there that I didn't catch when you read it.
What?
It's a word that he, the husband comes up and says, why, you're being too flowery with this. And he goes, well, I chose this word because it sounds more feminine. It sounds more womanly. And goes, well, why would you feel the need to be womanly towards him? Stop it, iPad.
Yeah, it's okay. You're allowed to be cooler than me.
Which makes me...
Nobody ever texts me during
Which makes me wonder if he himself has some sort of suspicion that there was a romance between her and her own half-brother. Why would she, that was a direct implication from him.
There's definitely some history between those two.
Yeah, we don't know.
We don't have any clarity about, but they've intrigued they didn't hide that there's history, but they haven't revealed what exactly it was. And there's something about 50 pounds. Didn't they offer him 50 pounds?
Yeah, to leave England.
Is that really the how much money has changed since then? 50 pounds. I feel like they'd be like, yeah, I offered him 2,000 pounds. Like, you know what I mean? Like 50 doesn't sound like much even back then.
Because I think his ultimatum is that, and he says if he doesn't, then I'll kill him.
Like, how much was the island? The island was 20 pounds. Yeah. Like, what the? How much money are we talking about? I know it's all different and things change around and stuff.
And I think this was the scene where he demands that she rewrites the letter, right?
Yeah. Well, he does he gives like a little dramatic thing. This is where he says the N-word twice.
Yeah.
He says something about the N-word and then the N-word again.
He says that I will kill him. And he goes, you may wonder why I would choose to kill a man who comes from the same father as the woman that I love after only having met him once. Well, I'll tell you why, because,
when he reaches into his boot?
Yeah, when N-word bows deeply before you, he's reaching for a knife in his boot, and James Delaney is no better than a N-word.
All right.
And he will be treated as such.
Yes. Okay, great. Thank you.
I will not be sad when I see this character die, if he should die.
Yeah, he's looking out for his own interests, and meaning like I can't necessarily blame him for being like, Hey, got a hot wife. She's got a rich dad. The rich dad died. It's gonna get good. No more parties at the rich guy's house. I get to take over his TV. Get his Oldsmobile. And then all of a sudden, this really intense, crazy brother shows up who gets to take your money and be like, "What the fuck?" Yeah. So I mean, I'm not saying I think he's like the good guy in this situation, but he's definitely trying to protect his own interests.
Yeah, he rips up the letter and tells her to try again.
Yeah, which I thought was rude because she has a great font. And,
trying to persuade her half-brother to give up everything he's entitled to.
Right, totally. And by the way, look at these old-timey envelopes. They did 2 sides. They had to lick it twice. Look how far we've come. How far we've come, Jane. Yeah. We only have to lick our envelopes 0 because we have the little sticker tape.
Little does he know she's already scanned it and made a few copies in the back.
Yeah, yeah, and
the Xerox.
It's George Costanza bought the envelope, so she's gonna die.
Yeah.
Seinfeld joke. Okay, why do you have a candle in the daytime? Come on. Yeah. Come on. You think wax is free?
It could be because she was going to seal the letter with the wax.
With the drippy wax. But isn't that a different wax? Did they use regular candle wax? I think they had a special little stick.
You use your own earwax for that.
Your earwax, yeah. That's right. You tip your head sideways and bang your head like a swimmer trying to get water out of his ear. Yeah. And then wax fell onto the page. And okay. So she's a loyal wife, but she's meaning like he gives her this sort of condescending chin touch a little, but I don't think she's happy about any of this. But she still smiles at him.
Cares for him too much.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like she's real much on his side. Although, this dude's reemergence has just messed everybody's plan up. So, cut to old Walkie. He's got a WWE entrance. James said that. Did you say it earlier?
Yeah, that he carries himself like a WWE wrestler.
Yeah, he does. He kind of he just looks like it.
Yeah,
like he would be a cool WWE wrestler. Why do we keep saying WWE? I keep wanting to say WWW wrestler.
No.
But he does have a strut. He has kind of like it's like a dominant sort of strut.
It's almost like he should have like sparklers on his hat.
Yeah, this is how I walk too when I go to the mall. When I go to the Dippin' Dots. And we got old gross teeth. And, who's that guy?
Is this where he stores his corn?
Yeah, those are corn. Mm-hmm. Those are nice corns. And man, people are just, look at these faces. Are we all gonna look like that when we're old? You're lucky if you're handsome when you're young, and then you turn into a fucking ghoul.
But back then, people's faces were weather beaten and sun bleached. And,
no, I know. I'm saying it's a universal human condition. Is that we're forced into existence, and then we rot into a gross person. Now, I'm not saying you should look at people.
We start off as like nasty, wrinkly little pink babies and like a baby mouse. And then
but like those are like wrinkle babies are cute wrinkles. Yeah. They're like fat, they're like chubby. But that's baby chubby. Nobody looks at a little like a newborn. It's like, oh, we better lose some fucking weight.
No, you immediately put the baby on the treadmill.
Yeah, and then the treadmill zips him off, and he goes flying against the. Okay, all right, we're getting distracted. My point is that we're all cursed by the age demon.
I plan on there being a cure.
Yeah, well, that someday, I think we're the last few generations that have to die, or at least where the rich people will die, because they're not going to let everybody do that.
This is a great Mitchell and
Webb. You fucking think they're going to let everybody live forever if they come up with that technology? No way.
Are you familiar with Mitchell and Webb, a great British comedy duo?
Never heard of them.
They talk about how they're going to cure aging at some point, and that David Mitchell hates the children because he's going to be part of the last generation that has to die, and he looks back and goes, "I hate those smug little immortal children."
I agree, man. The last old person to die is going to see is a bunch of 35-year-old, 80-year-olds. Maybe 29. They're going to go, they're going to lock it down. It'll start by stretching out lives. So he's 140, but he looks like he's 60, and then eventually they'll be like, oh yeah, he's 800 years old, but he's got the dick of a 22-year-old. He's got several. Look at his back. He looks like a cow. He walks backwards like the girl from the Poltergeist, or not Poltergeist.
Linda Blair.
Exorcism.
Exorcist.
All right, that got weird. Okay, so this conversation, his accent was quite heavy.
Yeah.
But he doesn't seem to like him, and he was giving him grief about the kid.
Yeah, basically what happened is that James Delaney's father fathered a child apparently 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Right around the time that he left.
Yeah.
And this man took the child in for whatever reason, and has been hounding Delaney to give him compensation for raising the child because, as he says, that if it weren't for me, he'd be sucking something in St. Giles or something.
Yeah, he'd be blowing dudes down at the beach.
Yeah, essentially that. Yeah. So he says that your father was a piece of crap. He never paid me. I hounded him for it, and now it's your problem because you're the head of the company now. You owe me something.
Yeah.
So he just calmly says, yeah, I'll take care of it. I'll send the letters, the papers your way, and we'll handle it.
Oh yeah, yeah. He didn't seem to be like fight him or get angry. He's just like, all right, sure, no problem. So what he's doing is he's walking along this entire beach, and every street hobo that walks up to him and demands money, he just says yes.
Yeah.
No, I'm joking.
But interestingly enough, one thing he says though, in introducing himself to him, he says, dogs like the one you're traveling with make their living eating corpses of suicides who fling themselves off the bridge.
Yeah.
And I've never seen one to go up and offer himself to the hand of a stranger.
Right.
So he says that. Is this part of your witchcraft, some part of your magic or something
like that?
So
the first time we see the dog, that was, I didn't say this but I thought that he met the dog and the dog followed him, and he just accepted the dog's company right away. But then it just seemed so natural they didn't address that at all. I just was like, that's his dog.
No.
But now he doesn't mind that the dog is like buddies with him.
No, and he's kind of equating that a dog like that would never seek companionship with a human,
right?
And that it must be attracted to your evil, wicked witchcraft ways, because he's attacking him the whole time, saying, "Well, you're a liar. I don't believe you."
Yeah, he's angry.
Yeah,
and wild dogs, street dogs, they're like giant rats. I mean, they're not friendly. They're not going to be. I mean, I guess they'll be friendly to get food or something. But you know what I mean? Like, so yeah, that's cool. Okay, all right. Well,
and
good.
This next shot represents the content of our souls.
Right here?
No, before
that. Oh, the black right there,
yeah.
you and I? Yeah, we are both terrible evil men. If God ever hears these playthroughs, hopefully, hey, God, subscribe, like and subscribe there, big guy. We are definitely going to hell.
Did you say playthroughs?
What are we doing here? Shot by shots.
Are we pressing like
video game?
XXYAB,
James,
R1?
I don't question the Lord, all right? Why don't you... Okay. Ow! Let's hear your howl.
Howl.
Let it out. I want to hear your wolf howl.
As the howls from Gilligan's Island.
Look at him. This guy, he's so self-conscious, he can't even fucking howl into a microphone.
Can't.
Dig, slice, slice, slice. By the way, back up one. What good atmo. Good grave robbing environment. Great job, set designer and lighting guy or gal.
And it seems obvious there's someone's digging up Mr. Delaney.
Well, yes, safe assumption. We didn't know for sure, but who else would they be digging up? It'd be weird.
Yeah, he's the only established dead dude.
Yeah, Danny DeVito crawls out of the hole or something. So yeah, they take off and they've got a thing. So we're just like, resurrectionists maybe.
Yeah, but then they show up in front of Delaney's house.
Yeah, now they got a package. This is the world's weirdest DHL delivery.
Now I was wondering, are they going to bring him back to life? Is this going to be like a Frankenstein thing?
I didn't know. Yeah, so this guy here on the right is kind of like a doctor guy. He's the one wearing the apron. That's There was medicine back. They would do surgery. One of the biggest innovations was one guy figured out that the babies, because the same dudes that were cutting up the corpses were doing births, the doctors did everything, and they would never wash their hands ever. And so one guy figured out that the babies were getting the same diseases. I'm getting some of the details wrong, but it's just like this grisly shit. And that was the birth of hand washing.
No.
They're like, if we wipe this grimy blood, this dried, disgusting shit off our hands, the babies will be healthier. I'm sure it's still not. It's the same as our doctors these days who sterilize their fingers like they're about to go to the moon. So all right, there he is, big eyebrow guy, dead gross body corpse dude, and rips them open. This guy here, Willem Dafoe.
It was Thaddeus P. Mutton Chops.
Thaddeus P. Mutton Chops, brother of David S. Pumpkins.
Yes.
And he starts doing a little thing. He explains, although. What's he reaching for? Oh, he's taking a sip. He goes, "Oh, you think I'm crazy for calming my nerves with
Medea or something like that?"
Some kind of.
And then Tyler Perry walks in and goes, "Oh no, you didn't."
Medea's. This is Medea's corpse dissection. One of the Tyler Perry's lesser popular movies. Yeah, and the crumbs come in. Says Eddie Murphy. He walks in and so this is obviously his place. I mean, we knew that already, but he explains, I'm gonna open up his stomach and
I'm gonna combine his stomach contents with the following chemical elements
and he
so
names
forth.
A few chemicals. So we figure out he's like testing. You're trying to figure out.
Yeah, he says I'll have an answer for you within 20 minutes.
Yeah, and he tells him to leave basically. Like, all right, leave me alone. I need to concentrate here. So this you don't have to block out because it's America. We block out titties, nipples, and penises. Things everybody has, except with disgusting gory violence, everything's totally okay with that. So not that was that bad, but it get a little bloody and gross. I have a personal mission to reverse that, James. I just think it's absurd. Nipples, no. Gross blood, yes. I say let it all out. That's my point. I'm not trying to block out. What about? Why am I talking? So we do a little sequence here. Chop, chop. There you go. That's the shit I was referring to.
Yeah.
This is okay. So it's kind of like rotted, gross, bloody stuff. a little bit of a Walking Dead kind of feeling going on here, meaning just like the guts, the grape jelly, and the popcorn and the blood-soaked popcorn.
So now, while he's waiting, he starts having a flashback.
Oh yeah, right there. There's a flashback. I tried to get. Oh, I have. No, do I have? Yeah, we have a bunch of these. Okay, so good. We got a lot of flashback stuff coming up. Oh yeah, this is pretty intense. This whole flashback thing. So he's just doing his thing. Kind of goes into his own little mental flashback fugue state mode, whatever, and that's him. And he wakes up in kind of this room here with bodies on tables all over the place.
My assumption of this is that we know that he was presumed dead from having sunk with a slave ship.
Yeah.
And that these are the people who died on the slave ship. But at some point he's looking around and he's ripping the covers off of them and he says a suicide.
Uh-huh.
And then he comes over to this like guy who apparently looks wet from being in the water.
Yeah, and he was still moving. He was like twitching around.
Yeah, who's already in chains, and we can only assume was on that slave ship because he's been dressed as such.
Yeah.
And he's yelling stuff like, I have no hate or pity or fear to feed you.
Or something, yeah.
Something like that.
It was all pretty intense.
Very weird.
Yeah, and he sits up. He's tied down, but he sits up. Or he's not tied down. His hands are chained right there. And
yeah, and he says...
He's really big and...
Yeah, like, I do the things I do because I have to. We are all owned. Yeah. Do not stand there and judge me. Or
But Tom Hardy is saying that.
Yes, and I don't quite get what's going on here.
Yeah. Obviously, I think we'll see this guy again.
Yeah, or when this happened, what time span this happened in.
Yeah,
and how his hands got bloody.
We don't know that. And I'm gonna bet this is like a friend of his that he had a close connection to and died, or maybe somebody on the slave ship
did he resurrect him from the dead, or was he already alive?
Or he hurt this guy and he feels guilty or something like that. Like it's hard to say. We don't know. But it's sort of White Walker-ish too. Maybe he's like, anybody, any old corpse will do, and he just happened to be around dead slaves and dead guys.
But if you're going to revive someone from the dead to serve you, you want a guy of that stature. That's a big dude.
Oh yeah, I mean, like if he's going to be on your battle, if you want someone on your side, it looks like a big imposing guy. But
if you can make Tom Hardy look like a little boy, then you're a big dude.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I wonder how tall Tom Hardy. He's got a presence to him.
He is.
Here, let's do it with Suri.
3'9".
Suri, how tall is Tom Cruise? Oh fuck! Oh shit! Damn it!
Tom Cruise is 5 feet tall.
5 feet?
What?
5 feet?
No.
That's got to be...
I was in an elevator with Tom Cruise once, and he was remarkably short, but I didn't know he was 5 feet.
Well, my understanding is he wears like lift boots, like I've heard.
Tom Hardy is 5'9".
Yeah, see, that's...
But 5 feet? That's like Lollipop Guild level.
All right, let me ask Siri again. Siri, are you fucking shitting me that Tom Cruise is really 5 feet tall?
Now.
You know why I love you, baby, because you're sassy and classy.
Oh, I bet you say that to all your Apple products.
Okay, god damn it.
Tom Cruise is 5'7". He's not 5 feet. Why'd she say 5 feet?
Well, somebody fucked with Wikipedia. I don't know.
That's hilarious. There's no way. 5 feet?
Yeah, that 5 feet is like...
He's a 6-year-old girl. Like I said, I have been in the same closely inclined space with him alone.
And you're like what, 6'1"?
6'1", yeah.
Yeah, you're not short.
And he was not 5 feet.
Did Tom Cruise go, what floor do you want, sir?
Yeah.
We are the Lollipop Guild. Okay,
we represent the Lollipop Guild.
We represent... Oh, fuck, the Mission Impossible? Okay. Yeah. That's hilarious. He's probably not even 5'7", but he's 5'4". All right, whatever. Who cares? Okay, so this guy's doing some of this old-timey chemistry. This is, Bill Nye. Bill Nye's great-great-great-grandpa. And he does a thing, and I thought this was actually kind of neat. I like the way they did this. He goes, in the horizontal tube is where the stomach gases are, and he lights it, and he goes, now here's the moment. And so then he... chemistry is very, very interesting. He holds his glasses up to the flame.
Yeah, and he says, yep, these are hot. That's fire.
Yeah. I've confirmed his belly had fire in it. He died from fire in his belly.
No, he says, notice the reflective properties on the lens. We call this an arsenic mirror.
Yeah, so it leaves a residue or changes it. Some quality that was left from he was trapping some kind of chemical, or maybe it was condensing back.
Yeah, and he says by the thickness of the arsenic mirror, I can deduce that he was poisoned over a short period of time with large doses.
Oh yeah, right, totally. That's man. So that's interesting. It's really, really chemistry is amazing. So there's like speed to chemical reactions. So sometimes it's very slow, and sometimes it's extremely, extremely quick. In fact, explosions are just extremely quick, extremely fast chemical reactions.
Yep,
it's crazy. So what a weird universe. I'm always just wowed by all of it, James, even though I'm a miserable piece of shit. So yeah,
so now that his job is over, he says, do you want us to rebury him, and he says, I want you to stitch him back into one piece.
And he goes, make sure we bury it.
Yeah, how deep shall we bury him?
Yeah. And so Tom Hardy goes, grabs him, and says, like, basically, nothing's going to happen to him or I'm going to come kill you.
Yeah, and tell your colleagues and all those others in the same profession of grave robbing and experimentation that if anything should happen to this body, I'm going to kill you.
Yeah, I mean, I guess there's a threat implicit in, hey, if you don't pay me to bury it deeper, bury him deeper,
then I can't be held responsible for what happens to him.
Yeah, something might happen to him, so just make sure this happens.
Because there's nothing easier than a freshly dug grave to redig back up.
Yeah, that's true. James, as I learned from James every morning when he comes home at 4 a.m. with dirty old boots and a bag of corpse heads. But I did like Tom Hardy's reaction. It was just like, oh no. This is you're not making up any. You're not making any decisions here, fuckface.
My favorite line is what comes immediately after that.
In his scene.
Yeah.
All right, go. Go ahead.
When he basically says, he says, well, do you want me to say any words over the body when we rebury him? He goes, no one is listening.
Oh, yeah, that's right. No one, yeah, that was pretty good. Certainly not the body. Yeah, so this guy's like, ooh, shit, fuck, man, damn. I look like Willem Dafoe with the fur glued onto my face. Doesn't really look like, I guess a little bit, with the blonde hair.
And the fact that he's also a male and a human, yes. He has a nose and a mouth.
It's the way he's got Willem Dafoe hair, man. Come on. Yeah. Haven't you seen Boondock Saints / Spider-Man, the one with Tobey Maguire, where he plays Dr. Osgood?
There's a slight resemblance.
That's the dumbest villain in all of mankind.
What, Green Goblin?
The Green Goblin flying around on his surfboard, on his fucking mobile, stupid thing. Mobile, what am I thinking of? Hoverboard. Okay.
It was his drone.
We're going to do a shot by shot of that movie. No, we're not. Okay, so cut to... the lady.
She's doing, what is this called, needlepoint? Or
needlepoint.
Cross-stitching? I don't
crochet,
really know.
maybe?
Crochet?
No, crochet is where you, like, make trivets and scarves.
No, this is croquet.
Croquet, yeah. That's what you hit the balls with the sticks. I think needlepoint.
And we both thought it was a centaur, but it's actually a little girl leading a lamb.
Yeah.
It's like, why would she be knitting or making a centaur? We're horrible nerds.
Oh my god! Yeah, because it was a quick shot, and I said, I go, was that a centaur? And Jim's like, yeah, that was a centaur.
Yeah, I was convinced. Yeah, it was definitely a centaur.
But neither of us thought, why the fuck would she be making a centaur?
She loves fantasy.
She's just into D&D. She's got a meeting on Friday. She wants to be ready. She's gonna win this week's prize. That's hilarious. Yeah, it's just a little like religious girl with a lamb thing.
Why would you say religious? It's a shepherd.
That's what I mean. Like there's maybe this isn't specifically, but lambs and like leading the flock. The shepherd is a religion thing. There's a shepherd. The TV show
Shepherd from Mass Effect.
Yes, Firefly. Yeah. There's the guy is a shepherd. That guy died this year, by the way. Yeah. But he's the reverend, but they call him a shepherd. Like there's a whole the analogies with lambs, lions. The priest is the head of the flock. It's not. I'm not saying this is like overtly like specifically crazy religion. Maybe there's a complete instance.
I think it's just Mary and her lamb.
As soon as I was old enough to think, I stopped. I stayed away from any religion. So I don't fucking know. I'm just making shit up. But it's not a centaur. That's so funny, man.
Okay. Had we not seen that, I'd still think it was.
Oh yeah, had I not had a shot of it, I would definitely. Okay,
and we would have said it too.
Yeah, she had a centaur. We would have made a video about it. Why did she make a centaur? Sorry, we would have made screenshots, but it was a centaur.
You probably put like a centaur in the thumbnail.
Is it a boy centaur, a girl centaur? Do I have to block out the centaur tits? Okay, so they're to go. The husband comes back in. He's not feeling real great. I don't quite have all the dialogue down for this scene here, James. Maybe.
Okay, so this basically at this part,
she pricks her finger. She bleeds, and she starts sucking on the blood.
He says that he's basically gonna leave or something like that. And she goes, "Well, I'm glad that's over, and so we can end our time with you and your empty threats."
He says he's gonna leave her, like leave the relationship.
No. He's basically leaving the scene.
What scene?
The scene that we're watching.
Oh, he's getting up.
Towards the door.
Oh, to leave the room.
Yes, when she says, empty threats, and then he comes back, says empty, and sits back down and asks for clarification as to what she's talking about.
Oh, I see. Okay, I got you. All right. Yeah. Okay. But what were they saying though? Like, I mean, there was this laughing was interesting. I remember. Something made her,
she's saying. I think she's reassuring him that at this point, the letter didn't work that she sent to him because he has not agreed to acquiesce to their request to leave. But she is telling him he will be leaving London soon.
James Keziah will.
Yes, James Keziah Delaney will be leaving London soon, and you have nothing to worry about.
Yeah.
And he retorts he goes, well, my only intention here, I mean, if it even comes to killing your brother, is to make sure that I'm protecting the assets and the interests of this family. It's all I've ever done. Right. And, I will not let him take what is rightfully ours.
Yeah. Yeah. So he's determined.
And that was a very unflattering screenshot of her.
Right there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Even the most beautiful person, you can pause them while they're talking and you're going to get some fucked up screenshot. That's not
And he's even reacting to oh my God, did I marry that?
Boy, talk about a red face, huh? No, she's I think she's gorgeous, by the way. That's one of the tragedies of Game of Thrones. She's probably one of the more attractive. I mean, Game of Thrones is filled with gorgeous women. Let's do a video about that. No,
I haven't done that yet.
So, so he leaves and she finally leaves it alone, and she kind of just goes into she sort of performs for him though. So I don't think she's up to any bad trickery, but she certainly puts on a face for the husband.
Yeah,
she's definitely kind of in her own world, in her own mind, and it's safe once he leaves for her to kind of have her own thoughts, I guess, or at least okay. So clop, 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 clop. He's riding a white horse. I think those top hats wouldn't be great for horse riding. I feel like they'd catch some wind and maybe blow off. They'd better fit pretty tight. So he is heading to a rickety old gross house with mold on the roof, and I like the set. This is cool. This is a really neat place, isn't it?
That's where Bilbo Baggins lives.
Bilbo Baggins lives there, and he knocks on. Look at this little thing here, blocking it up. And is that a door? You think you can just walk out?
Could be. Yeah.
What if you woke up drunk and you staggered out the front, what you thought was the front door, and then you just landed on your face in the mud? All right, I don't know why I'm doing that. So he knocks on the door. Guy opens. It's Pancake Hat Boy.
Yeah, the same man that he encountered before.
Yeah, the beach
and he
guy.
Said, he said, I decided to come here in person to deliver this to you.
Yep.
Hands him a sack of coins, and the guy looks at it as though he's shocked by how much this actually is.
Yeah.
And he says, this is for a past, present, and future.
Yes. Yeah, and basically you're going to keep taking care of the kid.
Yeah, and he says that to make sure that you're not lying to me, I want to make sure the kid actually is here.
Yeah.
His brother, essentially.
Yeah, basically. It's his father's son, right? I mean, so which would be brother. Oh, hold on. So, they walk up and there's the kid. That's him there. By the way, he was not turned into a chicken.
Yeah.
And the kid's just over there poking a big... I think he's looking for a needle. He lost a needle in a haystack.
But I kind of want to throw a theory out here at this point.
Okay, let's hear it.
We do not know for a fact that this child is the fathered by his father.
Okay.
Because this child apparently was born right around the time that he left town.
Yeah.
And we know there's some sort of weird love relationship between him and his half-sister. So I'm wondering if maybe this is actually the child of him and his half-sister.
Could be.
I don't know. It's speculation, but that's just wanted to make sure that was out there.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, that could be the case. And he says don't you want to talk to him or meet him? He's like, no, I don't care. And he walks off.
He says, no, not ever.
Not ever, yeah. And he's like, what? Jesus Christ, dude. It sucks. And so...
Because in a prior scene, when he's walking away on the beach, the guy yells after him and goes, you didn't even ask about, the state of your own blood.
Right.
Because he doesn't seem to care.
He doesn't seem to give a shit at all.
He just wants it as one other thing to knock off the list of things to do. Yeah. Okay, I paid this off. This is a done deal.
So he didn't have to pay the guy. He's got some sense of obligation or honor. Like, there are some rules governing him that seem to... Not he's completely unique in the world, but he sort of seems to operate by his own set of rules. Kind of like me. That's why they call me the bad boy of rules. So he... there's every scene serves that purpose of informing you of their character. I mean, that's good storytelling. The reason shows get boring is because scenes are a waste of time that either don't advance character or don't advance story. And this so far is doing both. And that's what good shows are. The two hallmarks of good shows. And usually at the beginning of a show or series, the character establishment leads to plot development. And by the end, it's mostly to plot development because you already know all the characters. So I just summarized how to write a great script. All right, so there's a little boy.
Yeah, and later on we find out that he actually is a Baratheon.
He's a Baratheon.
And they come after him, and then Gendry has to row away.
I was going to make a Gendry rowing joke. He jumps into a boat, and he and Gendry have races, and they become two boat people, and they become the parents of Waterworld, starring Kevin Costner. So back to the East India Trading Company. Look at all these things up here. These
it's very extravagant.
These are all the products they sell. They sell horns. They sell helmets and torsos, horses. This is like a harp and some musical instruments.
Before
and stuff.
we get too far into this, the prior scene where she was saying about empty threats is that
the woman and the husband.
Yeah, Zilda.
Zilpha.
She is basically part of the conversation they're having is that they have come to know that he has rejected the notions that they've set forth in the letter.
Yeah.
And he is going to personally meet with the East India Company. And he, the husband, Mr. Geary, is infuriated because he says, okay, we're just going to let him go and take everything from us.
Yeah.
We're going to let all our negotiations up to this point be thrown out the window, and he's going to waltz in there and do his thing.
Yeah. Correct. Is that all you want to say?
Yep.
All right. I checked my phone while you're talking, so I wasn't listening. All right. Sorry. Otherwise, I would add to that. But I totally agree. Horse rides up. Clop, 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 clop. It's him. It's the horse guy. Oh, look at this. Like a little headlight. They just light up a candle and off they go.
I guess would be the worst announcer for the Kentucky Derby. Clop, 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 clop.
Yeah. Starstruck is running past Smith. Oh, hold on, I got a text. Oh shit! Fuck my stuff.
Clop, 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 clop.
Clop, 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 clop. Oh, one of them won. One of the horses won. The rest of them just crossed the thing too. I'm hungry. I need a cigar. All right. So who's he meeting with? He's meeting with the East India Trading Company boys.
With Ray Romano.
Yeah. With Ray Romano after a gamma ray disaster. Yeah. It doesn't always turn you into a superhero. So
they're in the main room. They're biding their time, waiting for him to arrive. He's flicking a lighter or something. I don't know if it's a lighter.
Fiddling with something.
They have lighters.
This guy's just tap. I thought this was really cool.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but he's just tapping the face and making a clicking noise.
Well, next to the face.
Well, it's the cheek, I guess.
Well, he's not touching the face.
Oh, I thought he was hitting the cheek.
No.
Oh, but he's just tapping the wall.
Yeah.
Okay, fine, whatever. But it's just he's standing there tapping it and doing that's it, just like killing time.
Well, I mean, this was before Xbox.
Yeah, this was the Xbox. This is the original Xbox. I mean, people do weird things. People don't do things they don't realize they're doing. Not that there's anything really to read into this. I just like that they must have on set. I don't know if it was in the script or if they were like, oh, I don't know, tap the thing. I mean, you're bored, or maybe it also adds tension. And it adds like sort of very like tick, almost like footsteps in a way, kind of tap 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 tap. But I just thought I love little details like that. And they didn't waste time with it. They didn't bother explaining it. And I'm not trying to suggest there's more to read into it other than the guy was just killing time. But it also added to the scene. So there he goes. That's a little bit what I look like, James. I'm very bald, and I have a beard, and I'm white, and I have an ear. I have one ear. Yeah, there he goes, walking in, intense. Look at this place. Look at his suit of armor, coat of armor.
Phil Spector back there.
Phil Spector right there. Yeah, that's right. And that's okay. Nothing else. Okay. So he shows up. He walks in, and exactly how this starts, I don't quite remember. But luckily, James is here.
He says initially, right off the bat, that you were my commander. I was a cadet under you. He goes, forgive me for not remembering. I blame the brandy and old age.
Yeah, that's right. Even though he was informed earlier,
yes,
he pretended like he didn't remember to maintain a higher status. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yes, and Mr. Appleby starts off by saying, and this is the Lord... No,
that's his name?
I keep saying Lord of the Rings. No, he's Stuart Strange.
Who's Appleby?
Tyrell. I can't get it right.
But what's Appleby got to do with it?
That's his name.
Oh, really?
Yes.
In Game of Thrones?
No, in this show.
This guy here?
No, that is Doctor Strange. I want to keep calling him Doctor. That is Sir Stuart Strange.
Wait, back up so we can have... This guy is Appleby.
Yes.
This is Sir Stuart Strange.
Yes, and this is Ruby Tuesdays between the two.
Yeah, I was going to say...
And that's TGI Fridays.
I was going to make a TGI Fridays show.
Too late.
God damn it.
And Red Lobster is going to come crashing through the window. But anyway...
Growing up, James, we were poor. We couldn't afford to go to TGI Fridays. We could only afford to go to TGI Thursdays.
Ruby Tuesdays?
Yeah. Fuckface Wednesdays.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
So he starts out of the gate. He comes out and says, before we begin, I'd like to say my deepest, sincerest, not apologies, but sympathies for, and he cuts him off. And he goes, there's nothing I hate more than hypocrisy.
Yeah.
And he says, okay, well, let us not then pretend. And he cuts him off again and says, yes, let's not pretend. At which point, Mr. Strange comes up and goes, I wonder if in this evening, Mr. Appleby will have a chance to finish a sentence.
Right. And not, yeah. And so he's kind of comes off rude. He's like, let's just get to the point. We just get this over with. He's a hard guy to deal with. I've dealt with people similar to this, like kind of, it's just like, all right, just calm the fuck down, all right? Jesus Christ.
So this whole scene is about them fishing for information, trying to find out, is this man savvy? Does he really know the true value of the land that he holds?
Right.
Can we outsmart him? Can we make him feel as though he's getting a better deal out of this? Because their entire goal is, we need this land.
Yeah. Yeah. So he points at this map, and this is what we're talking about. Let's just
Nootka Sound.
Yeah, Nootka Sound. Nuka-Cola, Fallout 4 reference. Disappointment. Wow. What is this? How my dad feels about me and my career? George. Fort George. Look, they're changing stuff. So this is old-timey. No, we don't know where this is, though, James. Is this Vancouver? Is Fort Mount Hood? Yeah, this is Washington.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, okay, because they talked about the gateway to, coming up. So everything James just said, though, they're trying to fish out if this guy is savvy at all.
Yeah. So they're essentially saying that this land is going to become pivotal because, and even say, you've been in Africa for a while, so you may not be aware of this, but
Britain and America.
Britain is at war with the cursed United States.
Cursed America, yeah.
And he says, yes, I'm aware.
Right.
And he goes, and you also may know that, this land will become integral for, drawing the border between U.S. and Canada and so forth.
Yeah, yeah.
So he's appealing to his patriotism, saying that this means a great deal to the crown and to the king.
The War of 1812, I think, lasted until 15, and this is what, 14? Or is that what
yeah, this is 1814.
Yeah. So, but they're kind of referring to kind of the post-war thing where they're going to redraw some borders and shit's going to change.
So they're basically underscoring the significance of this land.
Yeah.
So they're trying to get him to sell it to them without him understanding just how much it really is worth.
Right.
So he surprises them.
Go ahead.
He kind of surprises them by saying, yes, I understand everything you're saying, but I also know that there's, secret talks of peace in Ghent. And I also know that this land is very important, again, in drawing the borders between Canada and the U.S. And I also know that this means a great deal of amount to you, to the Crown, to the East India Company, but also to the Americans, because whoever holds claim to this land also holds claim to all of the island of Vancouver.
Yeah.
Which also is the connection to China.
Yes. So he whips out way more information and savvy and know-how than they had any idea that he had.
Yeah, so they are not pleased.
Yeah, so they're realizing that this, what they thought was just sort of a dumb tiger, actually is a sophisticated negotiator, or at least knows a lot more. He has a he's a tiger with Stephen Hawking's mind. And by the way, a tiger body would be a better wheelchair than a wheelchair.
Be harder time typing.
No, he's got the claws. He'd be great. He'd just swipe his enemies' faces off. But he'd keep the voice. He'd open his roar, and he'd be like, roar.
Yeah, he just roll the whole room. We need to populate Mars.
We can only make fun of Stephen Hawking because everybody likes him. Yeah. He's a nice guy.
Well, we don't know because it takes him like a day to say one word.
Oh, come on, that's not true anymore. It takes him half a day. All right. So, but they're realizing that their move wasn't so good. Meaning, like their negotiating position isn't as strong as they were hoping it might be.
Yeah.
But there was this little moment where these two. Now, this guy here.
He's the stenographer, but he looks very intense.
Yeah, okay. So then they made eye contact. Now I bet you these two. Here's a prediction: they're gonna have some sort of weird sexual interaction at the brothel. The whole reference to like men with different things. I feel like there's something gonna go deeper because the show's called Taboo, and I know I just really sense that they're setting up because if also just from a writer perspective, you can't necessarily have all characters. Let me back up a little more. All right, I'll advance a little. So they have this moment where they see each other, they make eye contact, and it's not like it was really sexual here. I'm just saying that this was very deliberate, though, that they sort of tuned into each other for a very quick moment. And then, but as a writer perspective, although the other guy, he's sitting back here, okay, behind these guys, he's sitting that way. You can't have them all four be the same mind. Unless you want them to. But
I had the strange.
Does that thought make sense though? Like,
yeah,
like if there's going to be a crack in the a chink in the armor, so to speak.
That's horribly offensive.
I know. I can't. It's not. So in other words, for the extra drama or extra character interactions, otherwise you just basically have a 5-headed Hydra with all the same brain, and that's fine too. If that, I mean, I don't know if that makes sense.
There's something that happens a little bit later, actually at the end of the scene, that makes me kind of have an opposing view to that, and I'll let you know when we get there.
Oh, okay, yeah, please do. I'm all for opposing views. This is all just bullshit that I'm making up as I'm going. So, they don't really know what he's going to say, or, they're not sure what's the next move. I don't know.
Well, he basically said that I understand how important this land is, not only to you and the crown, but to the Americans, at which point he says, may I appeal, if I cannot appeal to your patriotism, which instead of patriotism, he says patriotism.
Yeah.
He said, then let me offer you something in terms of money. Because at first he tries to negotiate with him, saying, well, might I remind you as a loyal subject of the crown and the king, that you have an obligation to do what is best for his Royal Highness as opposed to the filthy Americans.
Which is manipulation. So when you find your nationalism being used for you to give up something valuable, like either your time, your energy, or your money, you're probably being, not more than likely, but oftentimes manipulated by somebody in a position of power who stands to benefit from your rightfully correct instincts to love your country. That's why, for me, my personal is I'm suspicious of unearned nationalism, where and that's what they're using his appeal. What often works is to say, hey, don't you love your country? Then give up this land. Do it for the crown. Do it for the homeland. Do it for your family. Give up your. But in fact, what they're doing is say, we want money, and we're going to manipulate your instinct to be patriotic to benefit ourselves. And that's one of the things that we see in our world too. Not to over editorialize, but that's one of those things I just go, oh, fuck you, you pieces. Don't manipulate somebody that way.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so this is the point in time where he says
it doesn't work.
Yeah. So they say, if I can't appeal to your patriotism, then perhaps I can appeal to you with money.
Yeah.
And that's what this guy says.
Yes.
And this guy just has CD written all over him.
Very seedy. Yes,
I don't like this guy. He looks like I don't know.
Go ahead.
He reminds me of like one of the writers for Conan O'Brien who comes out sometimes that no one would know. So.
Oh yeah, I know Brian something or Brian Stack.
Maybe, yeah.
I don't know the right names, but you don't mean it in a bad way. It just looks
no.
Okay, just looks similar appearance. Yeah.
So he basically shoves an envelope across the table to him and says, I think the negotiations between Zilpha and on your behalf were quite rigorous, and that I think that is more than a fair offer.
Right.
And Tom Hardy's character leans over and goes, I'm sorry, are you deaf? Nuka is not for sale.
Yeah. Yeah, that was cool. I mean, he just sitting not having any of their shit. That was it. And then he gets up and just walks out. Does he have a cool line?
He does kind of lose his cool, and he says something to the effect of, open the effing envelope.
Right. Yeah, he won't even look.
No, he won't.
I imagine it's a lot of money, because that was their second play. So they had a backup, and usually that means they're going to be offering you more money than, They're clearly, because they're a little bit more desperate, and he won't even take a look at it. It doesn't even mean anything.
Yeah, but once Delaney leaves the room, he looks at his colleagues and says, well, I guess we're not dealing with someone that we can easily, persuade with. He's just as stubborn as his father was, and I'd hoped we could resolve this with modern methods, but it looks like that won't be possible anymore.
Yeah.
And he looks over to the guy and says, this is in your hands now.
Yeah.
And he looks at the guy and he goes back to...
the stenographer guy?
The stenographer guy does get his face flashes on the screen, which makes me think that this is not just the stenographer, that this is an enforcer.
Oh, okay. So maybe I'm okay.
He's giving the kill order.
All right, yeah. Yeah, your theory... Okay, so expand on your theory a little bit, or I can respond.
I think that he is saying that we tried to solve this through diplomatic means. That didn't work. So we're not going to accept failure at this point. This is too critical to us. So I'm giving you the authority to go after and use violence to solve this problem for us.
Okay. I think there's a lot of rationality to what you're saying. I would add that my theory that they're might meet in a bra. I feel like that's just the thing. Like, I don't know. I just sense that this show's going to get real weird. That's kind of why I'm saying that. But that could, our theories don't necessarily, they're not incongruous necessarily. Like because I guess my theory is open to that they'd have a positive interaction, meaning like a tryst or, but it could be manipulative in that way. Like they could have a thing and then all of a sudden they're banging or whatever. It's funny that we're saying, and then it turns crazy or turns violent or something. It might not be overt, is what I mean. So okay, fine, whatever. We'll move on. But I do okay. But yours is actually probably more on the money than mine. I'm definitely would kind of go along with that. I think you're correct. All right, so back to the house. We're almost at the end, everybody. Hang in there. And he goes inside. He's got
there's a letter by the door.
Yeah, he's got a letter by the door. It's not an Amazon package, which is what my favorite thing is to get. And he opens it. He's holding a little candle there. This is, Dear James, the letter I sent you this morning was written...
under the supervision of my husband.
Oh, keep going.
I was just remembering that.
Oh,
to whom I'm happily married.
It is more than 10 years since you... I thought you were reading it great. You just remembered the line.
I just remember the line.
Right, you cheater.
I did.
Since you went away, and at the time I was grateful that you had decided to leave England... Fucking something for our sakes.
For both our sakes.
For both our sakes.
But she goes into saying something
whatever
like...
happens...
Yeah, whatever happens in terms of the disputes between the trust of this new property that's being left to us by the father, I trust that you will use the discretion to keep past secrets buried.
Yes. Right. Like, let's not let let's let sleeping dogs lie.
Which makes me wonder if this... Because there's so many references in this episode to him loving her or her having something like the whole happily married thing, that they had some sort of romantic tryst back in the day, and that perhaps that child that he paid all the money to is not his brother, but in actuality his son with his half-sister.
Okay, that's a pretty good theory. I would bet that one's probably true. And then he treats the letter exactly the way I treat cards and birthday cards and Christmas cards that my family gives me. I immediately set it on fire.
Well, you got to shake it, see if money falls out.
Well, I always take the money out.
Yeah.
I'm not stupid. You take the money and then you burn the card in front of them. And you say, thanks, Grandma. Now get back in the car. No, I do actually, I do throw away cards like within a couple days. I just don't, I'm not sentimental at all. And like I've had like stacks of old shitty Christmas cards. And it's like, why do I need to hang on to glitter and old dumb? No one writes anything. They just write love, mom, love dad. It's like, I don't need this shit. If you write me a note, I might keep it because there's something sentimental about like a person's real thoughts. But anyway, all right. So I just my tip here: throw away fucking cards. Do it at Christmas in front of the family, just because it's fun and it causes tension. Okay, there you go. He burns it, and he's intense, and his name is Tom Hardy, and that's it. He doesn't seem to be too afraid of the fire, and he's acting while playing with fire, and that's it.
He does jazz hands and says taboo.
Taboo. Ah. That's so funny. He looks at the camera and winks, and a little star wipe happens. A little ring, a little harp. So there you go. That's the end of the show. Taboo. All right. Well, we got to the end. We went way fucking longer. That's what we do.
That's kind of our thing.
We always aim for 45 minutes, and we always do an hour and a half. It's so annoying. But quick review or quick first impression for a show. Are you happy?
Yeah.
Are you glad we're watching this one?
I am very glad that it was recommended to us during our first horrible stream.
We did a live stream of video games. We just mostly like a 2-hour podcast.
It was pretty bad, but people were very,
great.
very nice.
It
was. I had a lot of fun.
For a debut live stream, it was great. We didn't expect anybody to show up, and people did. And not that we tried. It just all of a sudden people were like watching and commenting. And
met some really, really cool people.
That's what surprised us was the interactivity of it all. But that's how we were like, oh yeah, Taboo. We gotta do Taboo. So. But you're glad. You're good show?
Yeah, I'm not regretting this purchase. I'm looking forward to see what happens.
I'm super intrigued. Tom Hardy's awesome. We've established that. The set is great. Like the setting, I mean, the world they've got. I like that they're going to tap into some kooky, weird religion stuff.
I am curious about one thing, though, because when I was looking up on IMDb, it listed exactly how many episodes each character was in. So it makes me wonder, has this already been released in its entirety in England, perhaps?
Maybe.
And now we're just getting it trickled
why would
episode?
Just even if it just started, they would know how many episodes they are.
But
it's not like it's accidental.
But how would they know the cast of every episode? That seems a little bit on the nose.
Why would it already be on IMDb is what you're asking?
Well, I mean, how would they already know how many episodes a certain person appears in? And how would they know that Tom Cruise is 6'7"? I mean, 5'7".
5'7".
Tom Cruise is a basketball player.
He's 14 feet tall. He's, I don't think that's too outlandish. And the notion that they have IMDb already filled out, that seems pretty on the nose with a big show. This is a pretty high profile show. I hear you. I know what you're saying, but it's not. But yeah, I think it's fine. I mean, if anybody wants to weigh in, is IMDb wrong or not? Not you're saying it's wrong, but I'm not even sure what the hell you're trying to say. Okay. Well, are you learning anything? Or
I just realized that one of the creators of the show is Chips Hardy.
Chips Hardy.
Does Tom Hardy have a brother named Chips Hardy?
Yes. Who do you think's older? I think Tom is older, and then they realized they could name their second kid a fucked up name, like my parents did.
Chips is the father of the movie actor Tom Hardy.
Oh, really? Oh, maybe
interesting.
Okay, interesting. All right. Well, look what we're learning. Whose dad is named? Can you have a dad named Chips? I mean, my dad's name is Pringles, but it's not that weird. So
Mine is named Mr. Peanut.
yeah, my dad's name is Spicy Fire Cheetos. All right, so James is cracking up now. I've never seen him laugh so much. So okay, I guess that's it. Great show. We're excited. We'll see you in episode 2. We're gonna probably record that tomorrow or whatever. But hopefully we'll get these out consistently. And we're not doing animation because that shit takes so much fucking work, and it really bogs this process down. Not that because it's not what people are coming to the show for. But let us know what you guys think in the comments. James, any final thoughts?
No. That's this comes on Sundays.
I don't know. Beats me. This comes out. Don't worry about it. We'll have it out. And we'll see y'all soon. Like, subscribe. Thanks for being part of our show. Thanks for finding our channel. Thanks for putting up with this long ass video. If you're new here, thanks for taking a chance on a channel you don't never heard of. That's all annoying. And what James?
If you read the title backward, it's ooh bat.
Ooh bat. Oh, Taboo
I
bat.
think we've solved it.
Yeah.
We don't need to watch anymore.
That's right.
He's Batman.
He's Batman. Ooh bat. Batmaner. Cool. Great last minute edition there.
Yeah, I know.
It's real good.
I had some quality right at the end.
All right. Bye, everybody. See ya. Bye, James.
Goodbye.